I need to turn the mics on because the whole Sleepy Boy thing is, especially with voice and some of the replies we've been getting, is pretty funny. But really quick, since the mics are live, I will remind everybody this episode brought to you by our patrons like Ahigo Comics, Qua, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, and Esther Flores. And if you like what we do and want to see us do more, you should consider supporting us on Patreon. So thank you very much for your support. So if you're wondering why this episode is not as timely compared to Let's Talk FGO, which went off like clockwork for once.
Booyah!
It's because Lucky overslept, which is hilarious because it's hard to remember sometimes what conversations are on or off mic. We definitely said something on mic about we wanted to have voice on last episode of Let's Talk FGO to maybe talk about Kama. We actually invited him and stuff. We didn't hear anything back. He was offline at the time. We went on without him.
Yeah.
You know, we assume he's busy. So later, he tweeted that he was invited to a couple of things. He didn't specifically say if we were one of those things or not, but he explicitly mentioned that he was invited to do a couple things, and he missed it because he slept.
Yep.
At which point, we, unsolicited, both made basically the same tweet on our home accounts. Saying that he was joining us as the professional Sleepy Boy.
Yep.
Which as the StudiOmega Twitter, I screen capped and posted that's basically our brand in a nutshell. And then one of the people he does those D&D streams with said that he also sleeps through those. He slept through a couple of those by accident time. So I'm like, no, no. And hey, now for the extra bits, the extra Sleepy Boy. This conversation is now happening on a show that was delayed in recording because Lucky overslept.
Yeah.
This is professional sleep boy life.
This is that professional sleep boy life. So, there's two reasons why I overslept. One is because I was having a bittersweet romantic dream with servants, alright? Like, don't judge me. It was good, it made me sad. When I woke up, I'm like, oh, it wasn't real. And my heart was broken. The other reason was that, as I've told people, Lucky's a jack of all trades. He's good at, just about, everything. Well, I'm not gonna say everything, but a lot of things, but not really great in one particular thing. And my friend had literally just given me, like, just here, like, okay, it's like, here, I don't use this computer, you use it. I just can't get it to work. And it's an upgrade overall from my computer. And so I'm like, alright, I'm gonna get into this thing, I'm gonna get into its guts, I'm gonna find out what's wrong with it. And I literally spent, like, 5 hours, like researching and doing Google searches and, like, updates and installs and programs and all that stuff, getting this. Because it was one of those moments where it's all like, I gotta do this thing. I'm gonna do it right now. It doesn't matter if it's fucking, like, 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm gonna do it right now.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta... There have been a couple of times when I've just been like, fuck it, I just need to do this right now.
Yeah. I said, I actually made a tweet about this because I was actually kind of incredulous. Because my friend had taken it to, experts and whatnot, trying to figure out what wrong. And I was able to diagnose the problem with progress with literally 2 Google searches and a bit of checking out company websites. I'm just like, why? But that's the reason why I overslept, as I said. Because,
well, also you said that your alarm clock betrayed you.
Yeah, I had set an alarm, but it was supposed to go off. Let's see, what time is it now? Like 3.5 hours ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And so usually, like, I was planning on, like, actually sleeping and being up at, like, normally, like, around, like, 10 a.m. But then I stayed up, so I was like, fuck, alright, let me just set an alarm. I'll try to be up by 3 p.m. Like, that's good. That's usually not too late for the Omega, because Omega's on a different time zone for me, so it's later for him, which means he's gonna get started getting the sleepy here. But it just didn't work. I was like, God damn it.
Which I'll admit, I don't necessarily quite understand, but I'm also not actually a deep sleeper, so, like, I don't think I've ever run into an alarm that I could sleep through. Like, sometimes my phone will ring and that wakes me up, and I'm a little teed off because there's not really anybody who needs to be calling me. Like, listen, there's a reason why God invented texting. Just fucking text me. It's a lot simpler and a lot less awkward. Also, I just kicked Mask to Embia in the dick and he exploded.
Oh yeah, I just finished that. Good job, Medusa.
Summertime Mo.
Three.
Actually, I just realized something. We listed all the bonus servants off for OQ Labyrinth last time. Is Summertime Mo on that? I don't think she is. No, she's not. Wow, that's weird.
Variant. I don't know.
That'd be a 5-star Lancer. I assume it's because she's Summer. Like, both of the Emias aren't on here for some weird reason. Or all of the Emias even. Like, Assassin isn't on here. But, still. That's kind of funny. But yeah, so we start off with, I think, one of our 2 quintessential topics, which is sleep.
Yeah. So next time we have Voice on our channel, he's going to be introduced also as a professional sleepy boy.
Yeah, he can join us now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so if I'm a little hesitant in talking, not that I think you guys would notice because truncate silence, because I'm wrapping up a story thing, because it's, a new battle time. We got new points. We got to pick sides and do whatnot and get points and stuff. And honestly, it's been a little bit of a swing back and forth, but mobile stuff is definitely what I'm focusing on a lot right now. Like, UFGO event, there's a rerun in Azure Lane going on right now, which is also stacked on top of another event, which I already did. I already have retrofitted Saratoga and got her new skin.
What I liked about it, though, is it was real easy to get that skin.
No, it's like 300 Korean baubles, Korean tchotchkes, whatever, because I think it's a Korea-themed event.
Yeah.
So it's whatever cultural item that I don't understand at all, but I'm sure the Korean server thought was super cool. But it was only like 300 for her skin, as opposed to like usually the valuable stuff in these collect items shops is like 4,000 or 6,000 or 8,000.
I'm looking at you, fucking Oxy Torpedoes and Zikaku.
This is the stuff we're still working on from the rerun.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a pretty easy to do with just build some ships, do some other stuff. I actually found it harder that they like reintroduced the academy function.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those were like, oh, you need to, retroactively go back and equip this specific gun to somebody. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you know how many millions of guns I have right now? I'll find it somewhere in there.
But you know what? I'm finding it worth it because
it's gotten a lot of little stuff, but there was one of them that was like, collect coins from your daily thing. I'm like, shit, dude, my cap is to like 40k coins. I have 100k. I'm like, that's gonna be a lot of spending. Luckily, I got most of the way there doing Saratoga's retrofit, and then the rest of the way there, I was just like, I'm just going to buy everything in the shop, even though I don't need more gearboxes.
Yeah, like, honestly, I didn't mean to grab that. Son of a bitch. Oh, well. Because I completed the easy one. I'm on the hard one, and it has a copy of, I think it's Nelson.
Yeah, it's Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson in there, and I don't have Nelson, so I'm like, give me that shit.
I have a Nelson, but hey, that's a free limit break I don't need to find more fucking bullets for. That's what I'm super excited for about out of this new Saratoga event shop is there's like one prototype and a couple of other bullets in there, and there's some of those cognitive chips. I'm like, oh shit, that's great. I need that stuff. I need that stuff all the time. All the time I need more bullets.
Yeah, no, like I was definitely in a bullet. What's the word I want to say? I forgot the word. What's the word when you don't have a lot of something?
There's many words for that. You're in a dearth, a drought,
famine.
A famine.
Drought. That's the word I'm thinking on. Drought. I was in a bullet drought.
That's a good nautical metaphor.
Yeah. But yeah, and apparently the exam one gives you one of those free elite tickets. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that system yet. We'll
get there.
We'll get there.
I can't do it because in the hard one is like you have to collect so many things from like the daily missions and all that stuff.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of stuff that takes some time. Luckily, though, one of them was like, because Portland was the easy one, some of them were like, and limit break Portland to max stars and max level. I'm like, already there, bro. Retrofit's already done.
Alright, I'm gonna level my wolf boy with these silver ones because I accidentally... I only grabbed the...
I'm in that zone already. But yeah, so Azure Lane's pretty active. They've already given us some previews of whatever's coming next. We've got submarines coming, it looks like. They're showing them off. So...
Shows a girl with a tattoo, and one of our Discord users was like, that girl is too young to have a tattoo. And I was like, And I was like, like, what are these girls even? Because apparently Laffy, who is small eagle ship girl, very sleepy, very cute, is of a drinking age because she's the fucking lush. So I'm like, what is age? Where are these girls? I don't fucking know. I'm confused.
USS Laffy DD-724, the ship that would not die.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's a fun thing going on there.
Yeah, I'm glad to bring
and then in Girls Frontline, they announced a roadmap, and I should actually look it up if I can find it, because it's got all the stuff that they're planning on doing in April. One of them was an event exchange. You're gonna do an Easter egg thing and get Easter egg stuff, but it lets you get an exclusive equipment for a gun that I actually own, and I'm like, oh, well, that's actually useful for once in your life. Girls Frontline with an exchange shop. What do I want? People I'm following.
I know there was an Easter egg shop. I know they were talking about there's going to be another hard as dicks.
Well, yeah. So that was the other thing was, let's see. So the Easter egg voucher is gonna have exclusive equipment for PTRD.
Yep.
She's gonna have
the Southern Hemisphere,
an exclusive coat. And there's also gonna be high level 16 lab high velocity ammo and scopes, which is great. That sounds really great to me. But so the monthly roadmap is the first day. There's gonna be the Easter voucher event. That's going to start on the 1st of April, on April Fools. The next day, they're going to start a new resupply gacha, which none of us are going to care about, and Voice is going to tweet about, and we're going to be really mad. On the 3rd, there's 5 new T-Dolls. Again, fuck you guys a little bit. Like, new girls are cool, but, like, just today, they're running 2 days of raid up on the new T-Dolls, and I'm like, well, you assholes, this is like 2 days after you introduce them. I've already spent all my fucking rations. I got 2 4-star shotguns, so I can't complain. One of them is one of the new ones. I got Spas. But
God,
I wouldn't mind AA-12, because AA-12s are really cool. I reposted that FPS Russia video of him doing that, so that's pretty cool. But we've got apparently 3 new of them coming on the 5th. 4th, there's an EXP boost event just in time for on the 5th. Or is this just in order they're on 5th? I don't know. It's hard to tell. But then we have new major event Deep Dive. And I asked this literally in our gacha chat. What is Deep Dive and how much will I hate myself? To which Camper replied, it's a really hard event. And I'm like, so it's hard, and yes, a lots. I will hate myself lots. So I have been using some of the time that we have to slowly work my way through Chapter 7 and to do lots of EXPs. I'm almost at the point where I can do the level 3 EXP. I just need a couple of my lower level echelons to be high enough level to clear out the rest of the trash mobs. Because like I have like 2 echelons which are like 13 or 14k plus, and then I've got one that's like 7k, and then the rest are all like 4 or 5k or lower. So they just can't deal with the extras who are left after those 2 big fights. So it's like almost but not quite, so close. So I've been chipping away on that a little and leveling up random dolls and giving them stuff. So I'm not any more prepared than anything else for a new event, but whatever. I'm now slowly leveling I finally built a handgun, machine gun, shotgun team.
That's what I'm working on right now, actually.
Who are supposed to be pretty good. I've also realized, for some reason, one of my lower leveled and equipped echelons is like 1,000 more combat effectiveness. I don't know if it's like a formation or what, or just the dolls are better. I'm like, okay, that's real neato that this one unit is less effective than them. That's super fun, guys.
Yeah.
But damn, AA-12 is so cool, though.
Actually, I really like cool. Ithaca's design.
Yeah.
Because
also, I mean, we talked about so much how we love the M1014 in Modern Warfare, so it'd be cool to get her sometime. She's kind of neat. Her design's a little. Her design feels a little try-hard with her frills and her checkerboard, and she's got the heterochromia, and she's got a dumb hat on. But hey, whatever. I'm not a T-doll artist. I'm just a guy who can't ever roll what the fuck he wants. Still no contender.
Level 100 contender. Ooh.
Though it's been a little while since I rolled for that, because like I said, I used it I got down to like 2,000 rations rolling for shotguns. So I'm slowly building that back up. But yes,
Yeah,
there's a lot of activity going on, doing stuff.
I wasn't able to get any new girls. I was only able to do heavy production twice before I was out because I've been still trying to get Type 95. It's just not working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So, but they're good. We're doing stuff, and we'll be sure to yell about how awful whatever the fuck's going on with Deep Dive is when that happens.
Well, I'm hoping it's not too bad. Like, my main echelon is now up to 33,000.
And we do have fairies, and I am upgrading the shit out of my fairy farm, my secret fairy room.
Secret fairy room.
Well, as far as I can tell, we just stumbled into this room in the basement, like, that's full of, like, an old diorama, and they're like, oh, Shiki-kan, you can throw all your fairies in here. They stay in here, our little drones with holographic girls inside them. Meanwhile, Shiki-kan's sitting back and like, why did we put the hologram waifu technology in our combat drones? By the way, if you don't know, that's an actual thing that at least had like a tech demo or a commercial, was like your hologram waifu to go on your bedside table.
Yeah, that was the fucking it was something box. I can't remember what it was now.
I don't know what it's called.
Gatebox.
Gatebox.
I still want one, but yeah, like this was the thing that was like, I think I mentioned this, or like I don't know, it was last week, but that's what killed me, is that like all you see like initially of the fairies is just their holographic form. So I'm like, oh, maybe just like some like small T-dolls, you know, that like run around and stuff. No, they're actually just fucking drones, and they have
they're little quadcopters, but they have little holograms on top of them so they could project an adorable girl.
I'm like, honestly, like I can see, I'm okay with this technology going in this way. I'm okay with this. Like, god damn it, like when I was working on the computer I got for free, it already has Windows 10 on it. And, you know, it was one of those things when, most people do on a Windows computer. Well, it used to anyway. You get booted up for the first time. You open up Microsoft Edge, which is now the new Explorer, and you type in Google Chrome. But when I did that, there was Windows decided to give me a little blurb. It's like, are you sure you want to do that? Microsoft Edge is faster, protects you from more, and we have Cortana. And I was like, shit, you have Cortana. I was like, like, the struggle was real. I, for one, am ready for our new AI waifus.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
So, yeah, I think, let's see, hold on, it's like 20 minutes in. And if we don't have much more to talk about mobile gaming, even though that's kind of what I've been doing a lot, it's like, not much to talk about, just, you know, doing that grind.
Yeah, it is just doing that grind.
Oh, I did randomly doing my 3 daily builds, get, what's the other new gold ship? Is it...
was it Yukikaze?
Is it Yukikaze? Yeah, that one. The new destroyer. Just randomly on doing my 3 daily builds, and I was like, oh, neat! I wasn't expecting that, but hey, free ship. Now I've got a gold Sakura destroyer. That's probably pretty good. Maybe I could put that in that fleet. As opposed to, like, floundering around trying to figure out who the fuck that third slot is. Have you got Ayanami yet? No. It's because Javelin is stuck in eternal leveling hell. I have two extra Javelins ready to go for that limit break, but it's just like, God, just remembering to slot you in every time in the level up is a pain in the ass, Javelin. But at the same time, she's like sub-level 50 or whatever, so I'm like, I can't I don't know if I can just stick... I should probably just stick her in a dorm. But I have lots of other brand new ship girls who are super underleveled. Maybe when I cap out one of them, I'll try and remember that she can just go in there. That's what I do. I always got them on that rotation. Like yeah, I've rotated through some stuff. Like, I want to rotate out Ninja Girl Kirishima, who's like I lack max level without being limit broken any. I was gonna rotate her out for Mogami, so I can keep working on that retrofit yo. But it would probably be smart of me to roll her out so I can level up Javelin finally and finally get that last star in there for Ayanami. But yeah, so like other than that you know interesting thing going on there, I don't really have any other like major stuff in the game going on. We're just doing our thing. How about you, Lucky? You think you got any like interesting builds or anything coming up? I said, like for
Like, the big thing I'm waiting for, especially in Azure Lane, is I'm actually waiting for the Steel Stained Sakura event, because that's when Nagato and Mutsu show up. And Nagato is, she's basically the Queen Elizabeth of the Sakura fleet, whose role is kind of being filled in right now by Amagi, and her massive amounts of debuffs and buffs. But, Nagato is, sad, Fox Lolly, and I'm all like, and you can, give her a ring, so I'm all like, yes. Fox Lolly Miko Bride. I am ready for this. But I've been basically working on, just maintaining, like, as I said, like, I have, like, 3 rows of level 100, so I'm just like, oh god, I have to keep going, keep swapping them out, keep getting the enhancements done. It's kind of crazy, because I just realized that, like, I had ascended greatly, and I haven't actually finished Ascending Unicorn. And I'm like, I'm not Ascending, I'm Enhancing Unicorn. I was like, so I'm like, I am a monster! So I've been trying to knock that out, trying to enhance tier pits and stuff. Like, honestly, the thing that's bugging me most is I don't like how much I have, if this game wants me to grind for the fucking, Enma points. For fucking,
Yeah, the Dyed in Red is that store's real slow. I'm glad I don't have to buy any extra copies of Swordy, because she's fully limit broken. But, goddamn, I want those more torpedoes. And other shit in there. Like, it's so fucking expensive. Oh my god, I need 8,000 of these things.
Yeah, I think I'm at like 6,000 right now.
Yeah, I think I have like 4 or 5. I haven't been as judicious in farming the event late night. Well, okay, so I should explain. I think I mentioned this like in Discord or something, but right now I'm in a weird phase. I still own a Nintendo DS. Its battery's not so good anymore. It has to be plugged in the wall at all times. But
all times.
I do still keep it around, and I still have some favorite games I will play occasionally. Right now, I'm in a retro phase where I was like, fuck, I need something to, like, play a little bit at night to, like, let me relax, but that's not necessarily, like, that I can actually play, though, because when I do Azure Lane as, like, a relaxing thing, that's all just auto battles, and just me slowly realizing that as much as I love Azure Lane, there's way too many taps involved in working through that game. Like, for a mobile game, you really need to be able to just tap fucking anywhere. And not, oh, I finished a battle. Let me tap the screen to confirm, and then tap specifically the continue button, and then tap the continue button again, or whatever, for drops. And it's like, God, when it's 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm just like, just go through and put me back on the map so I can make decisions. So I've been playing Final Fantasy Tactic Advance 2 a lot, just because I love it. I've realized going back and playing it, goddamn, I love that game a lot. I've really always liked Tactics Advance. Never really, because the port was on PSP, and I missed the original. But not so much the regular Tactics, but Tactics Advance, both on the Game Boy Advance and then on the DS. Really love that series a lot. Love that gameplay style, just the little sprites and little squares and stuff, and the job system. So I've been playing a lot of that in my casual time, but I don't know if I really have any commentary to have on it because it's a billion years old, though, hey, Square, I know you're really tight with Nintendo, and they're still making shit on cartridges. Tactics Advance 3 on Switch, please. People still love Tactics RPGs, I swear. Because I am planning, sometime this year, I'll probably pick up a Switch, assuming nothing terrible I need to buy comes out. Don't know what games I'm going to get for the Switch yet, but I'll pick up a Switch at some point, and then that'll be my relax at night, will be slap that baby out of the dock and just hold it over my chest.
Like, honestly, like, Breath of the Wild, like...
Yeah, no, that's like, I think that's the one game I know for sure, because I actually like Legend of Zelda, and I really... Yeah. The design sounds super cool. And that sounds like a great game you can play for like an hour at a time and actually do stuff.
And be super chill about it, too. Like...
I'm just gonna go in the woods, I'm gonna catch some fish, I'm gonna cook some shit.
I'm gonna let my horse walk, I'm gonna look at this beautiful scenery. Gonna deflect lasers with my shield, the usual.
Yeah, I never I never got to the 3DS point. That was in the time when I didn't have a lot of money and I was whole hog on consoles.
Whole hog.
When I was like, no, I'm gonna get a PS4 and I'm gonna get a PS3 and I'm gonna, and I technically had to buy a PS3 twice because I broke the first one, so I had to buy a Slim. Oh, though, speaking of which, I finally got my fucking screwdriver, so it worked, and I was able to pop open my PS3, void that warranty. Sony tried to be extra sneaky. They also, I didn't realize until I double-checked this, that they hid an extra screw under the warranty seal, which looks like it's printed on, but it's a sticker. And there's a screw under there. So I had to peel that off and pop that son of a bitch open. But I did, and I vacuumed it out. It turns on okay. I just haven't had an opportunity to let it run and see if it works better. But I vacuumed a lot of shit out of it. And, you know, hey, guess what? I know how to open it up again if that's not quite enough cleaning. I can pop more things and unscrew more shit and clean out more stuff.
Get in there.
But yeah, no, that was a good, I want to say, half an hour to an hour of just intimate time of like, okay, pop out all the screws, pop the cover, you know, pop this part out, like pull the fan out with a Q-tip, get in there and just, because I didn't have any canned air on hand, so I had to just get in there with a Q-tip and a brush and just scrub the crud off. Oh, what's this thing? Oh, this is like the cooling block or whatever. Let's just pop all these cables out gently and gently, you know, lift this off, get a vacuum in there. Had a tiny little computer brush. You know, just, like I said, spending a little bit of intimate time with the machine and being like, no, you still work.
It's okay, I love you.
Listen, I'm really attached to, so long as shit works, I'm still there. Like, I technically still have my PS2, which doesn't turn on anymore. And I'm just, you know, maybe someday I'll replace that. I still have a Super Nintendo that works. I still have, like I said, I have my DS that's got one cracked joint on the flip open, but it still works. And I play games on it. The only achievement I have so far to talk about in A2 is that I finally, just today, got my first, the time is right, I got my first Gria clan member. Yay. Fucking love Gria. Gria and Viera. Listen, dude, if they ever put Gria in 14, I'm like, fuck it, I'm there. Now I'm there. Well, Viera's not quite enough, as much as I love 12. I love Ivalice. But if they put adorable anime dragon girls, I'm like, fuck. Well, now I have to.
I mean, they have the Aura, which are, I guess, the dragon people. I don't know if they actually go for the full...
Oh, yeah, because actually Gria are very interesting in A2, because they're unique, because they're a unit that flies, so they... Because this is one thing I really do love about this game, both the first one and the second one, is they've got that, like, you know, they've got that square grid orientation, but they have the, like, the terrain is, like, uneven, it's got different heights, so units will actually have a jump stat, which lets them affect how much height they can do. Gria don't give a fuck about that. They also don't give a fuck about difficult terrain or anything, it's just, you can move them, their movement, and they fly. Well, that's pretty neat. Which is actually a really unique thing for them. They also have a couple of unique jobs, which is cool. Now I just need to find a Seek, I think, because I don't have any of those. Are they the same? I think they might be the same month as Gria, but a different continent. I don't remember. There's some stuff I don't remember about this game, despite playing it a million times.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the other thing I've been doing in my relaxing time. Just because I need some stuff to... talking about sleep again, I'm one of those people who, like, I can be physically tired, but not mentally tired, and then I don't sleep. Like, I have to wind down for a decent chunk of time before I'm like, no, I'm actually ready to sleep. Like, just because I feel tired, because I feel tired a lot, you know, depending on what the day is like, and, like, breathing conditions. I say as I try and clear my nostrils politely off mic. You know, I might feel pretty worn out or tired throughout the whole day, or for several hours, but only after a period of actually, in the time when I would normally sleep and actually relaxing, I can actually go to sleep. And sometimes you can't even do that, because if it's like too hot or too cold or it's not comfortable, then that's a real son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when our power was out for like a week after the hurricane hit, and there was no air conditioning, and it was the middle of summer, and the only thing to do to be cool was, other than in the day we ran the generator, so, you know, we could have fans going, but at night you just had to open your fucking windows as high as they would go and just let the air equalize. That was still really hot and really humid, so those were some rough sleeps. There were some days where I didn't sleep until, like, because my mother was sleeping downstairs, and it's a lot cooler down there, so she had as many problems as I did. And I probably could have crashed on a couch or something, but I was like, fuck, it's my bed. I'll be comfortable up here. But she would wake up and fire up the generator, and that would turn on a fan that would blow air into my room, and I'd be like, oh, thank God, airflow. Now I can sleep. Now I will sleep for like 6 hours. Sleep's a weird thing. And it's... Oh, yeah. Sleep is one of those things that both is and isn't a human universal, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, like, everybody has to sleep, so everybody understands that. But not everybody sleeps the same. I've mentioned this before. I'm not really a heavy sleeper. Like, if you knock on my door, if you come in my room and, like, say my name, if, like, an alarm goes off, I'm like, hey, what? You know, I'll snap awake. And I've actually, you know, moved to, like, having white noise and stuff to actually kind of, like, cancel out ambient noise in the house so I can sleep better. But some people are deep sleepers. You know, some people you could probably, you know, poke with a sharp stick and they wouldn't wake up.
I'm not that deep.
No, but, you know, there's lots of levels to sleep. People have different sleeping patterns. And, I don't know, it's just interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Dear audience, what's your sleeping patterns like? Are you, like us, professional sleep boys?
I usually swing between loving sleep and hating sleep. Because either I'm sleeping too little or I'm sleeping too much. But in the end, my bed is fucking comfy and I love it. God damn it.
No, listen, you get a good bed and you get a good sleep on and you're like, you just open up your morning and think about stuff and you're like, I don't want to get up through this shit.
Yeah, so I'm over here looking at my PS4. I'm looking at my PS4 fondly, and I'm like, it reminds me, we're about to enter the new month. That means, PlayStation Plus is going to be giving us new games. Last month I think we mentioned this last month, they decided to stop giving PlayStation Plus games for the PS3 and PlayStation Vita, and focus.
Well, the Vita especially makes sense because they've officially stopped production of Vitas.
Yeah, and you know, just focus on the PS4 and like last month it was Hitman. Was it Hitman in Modern Warfare? Yeah, I think it was.
No, I think it was Modern Warfare and The Witness.
Oh, and The Witness. Hitman was the month before that. Then
that reminds me. I have free time now. I should play more Hitman.
Hitman is good. It's real good. But this month for April 2019, the two games they're going to be doing is The Surge, which is kind of a mech sci-fi inspired Dark Souls clone, and Conan Exiles, which is basically an open world sandbox set in the universe of Conan the Barbarian. I'm not entirely sure what Conan Exiles is about because I'm looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of MMO, and it's like, is it? And people say, oh no, it's more like Rust. I'm like, I never played Rust. I'm like, what is
my understanding, never having actually played Rust or Ark, but having seen people play it, is that I assume it's like it's kind of an open world survivor. There are probably public servers and stuff that you go on where you can just run into randos, but it's probably not like a super high server count. But you're just gonna go out and you're gonna punch rocks and trees and stuff.
I'm okay with punching rocks and trees, but I don't want some random dude to come up and punch me while I'm punching rocks.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can probably do like private setups if you want. It's just like Minecraft. Like you can. I'm presuming you can play alone because a game that is not explicitly built as an MMO type experience usually doesn't really want to force you to multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
And I assume I don't know if it's got a static map or whatnot. So
yeah, me neither.
I don't know. We'll see, because I'll download it and try it out. Because, hey, I like Conan movies. What is best in life?
Yeah, and see, like, the problem I have, like, the game is, especially with the multiplayer aspect, is I always hear the fucking horror stories about Ark and Rust of other players just being dicks and, like, literally kidnapping players and...
Well, that's a problem with, I think it was Ark, where that was literally a mechanic that you could, like, stun individual players and, like, drag them around, which I'm like... Alright, so the developers of this game knew that griefing exists, and they enabled it.
Yeah, so I'm like...
Because, let me be real, if you put them... That's not a fun... I mean, actually, honestly, Achievement Hunter's video when they did that was pretty funny, because they were 6 guys fucking around with each other, but in normal play experience...
complete and total strangers.
That's... Yeah, that's... You know that's not like a fun thing to do among friends, because you know that plenty of people will be playing with randos. So that just means that people are going to get abused and kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's funny when you turn a game into a different form of entertainment. When you're playing at home, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. This is one of those things that I constantly have disagreements with game developers about.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand in a formal sense, this is actually going to play into the other big announcement we're going to talk about with video games, and I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot, but... So for some video games, I understand. You want me to tell all my friends about your cool game, so we buy 4 copies. But what if I don't have 4 friends I can tell to buy copies because I'm concerned that they're just going to buy on PC, and I don't have a PC that'll do that, or other shit. Maybe I don't actually. Maybe I'm just in a lonely time in my life. I don't have 4 friends, so like I get that from a sales perspective, they're trying to drive you to tell all your cool internet friends, who I don't have. I have like 3 or 4 people in my PlayStation friends, like ever. Maybe 5. I don't know. It's a low number. Because I don't just friend randos I run into in the internet. So, like, my personal pool of people to draw on has always been small. Maybe my parents were too paranoid about the internet safety stuff, but I always kind of took seriously, like, don't befriend internet strangers, actually get to know them first. Then you invite them to your house for a couple weeks, and you hang out, and you see gators, you watch movies, you play games on your coffee table. Hi, Ron, who's not listening. But yeah, so like to me, always the idea of a lot of that online integration where the game developers are obviously angling for you to tell all your friends and they buy the game. And so if you were actually like, I don't know, in a LAN party in the 90s, this would be cute. And maybe, I guess, if you're on a Discord server and talking to people, okay, you could get some cute interactions. But actually, this is another good question for the audience. Do most people actually play that way? Like, when was the last time you actually... Like, I know for some MMO-type stuff, you have to do some of that stuff. And you can usually, if you have, like, a big enough circle of friends or, like, a workplace even, you can find a decent chunk of people.
Well, like, I don't know what it is for most MMOs, but, like, specifically for, like, Final Fantasy XIV, which is my MMO of choice...
Well, also another thing you play a lot that would be good for this reference is Warframe, but
yep.
Like, I feel like like 3 or 4 people you can always Warframe with.
Well, no, like I don't actually the only 2 people Ron plays Warframe. Like,
okay, so a couple of people you can reliably Warframe with.
Well, not even reliably because Ron's on weird hours. StudiOmega, I'm playing Warframe with him. It's the reason why I actually made a gaming voice channel so people can hang.
Which Camper I immediately alphabetized to fuck everybody. I don't think it's fucked anybody over yet, though.
And Camper said he'd be interested in playing, but
yeah, he's picked it up, but he's not. Like,
it gives him motion sickness. But here's the thing: like I said, like I don't have a big enough circle of people who play Warframe to like if I just jump on, like people just go, hey, let's play some fucking Warframe. Usually, if I try to do like a little bit of coordination or time, I can get maybe 1 or 2 people. Most of my multiplayer interactions in Warframe is literally pickup groups, the random groups where I join a mission publicly and the game auto matches me to other people.
Right.
And we usually do whatever it is we're doing completely.
Hi, how I played the entirety of Destiny 1 and Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Matchmaking.
Just entirely signed. And that's like
hey,
the same
you know
thing
what? For Destiny, that works out okay. Like, because there's no friendly fire, there's not a lot that randos you're playing with can do to fuck you up. Like, just keep everybody alive and, don't make anybody freak out and you're just fine.
Yeah. So, in Final Fantasy XIV, what they have is they also have matchmaking. And there's also gonna be 0 talking unless someone fucks up, because, tanking, heals, DPS checks, all that crazy shit. And then at which point, everyone fucking starts screaming. It's not the most, what's the word I want to use? Polite of environments. Most friendly of environment. And, like, especially on Final Fantasy XIV, like, I knew a couple people who played. Like, I've joked that because actually Final Fantasy XIV they've been talking about their latest expansion. I think, was it called Shadowbringer? Which is coming out this summer.
Yeah, that's where we mentioned because they just had a festival or whatever in Japan. That's where we mentioned I think that's when they announced they're bringing the playable Viera in and stuff. I'm not sure. I'm not 14 is not a Final Fantasy that I'm super glued to because it was an MMO. And also it sucked for a couple of years. Oh, I'm talking to nobody again.
I met Ron in a random pickup group in Warframe. And let me tell you right now.
Ron was always a lot more ambitious about talking to people than I was.
Yeah. And that was one of those things, because, like, if no one's talking, I'm not going to talk. But if someone else talks, guess what? There's going to be a full-blown conversation going on as we talk. And as me and Ron had great fucking chemistry, We friended each other on Steam. We played more Warframe. He told me about his gaming group. I asked to get in. He let me in. Boom. There's Lucky in fucking Wild Talents, being afraid of the Wooge and shooting light guns with fucking iron spikes.
Yeah, and you got introduced into Wild Talents in a really weird time, because there were... I was heavily ripping off Big Trouble in Little China.
Fuck that boat.
Yeah, you blew up a boat. Did you... I'm trying to remember if you... Did Ron, walk you through making a character?
Yeah, and there was, and this is, when I was, a lot more headstrong, and I fucking butted heads with Ron a lot.
No, but I'm the reason why I'm asking is because Ron has a certain way of making characters in Wild Talents.
Oh, yeah, no, he totally helped me. He was like, oh, yeah, you can do this, this, and this, and this, and this is, why I had, a ridiculous fucking overpowered power that I just...
Yes, Listen, I was trying to kill Feng a lot. At some point, normally I'm not an antagonistic GM, but when player characters can take hits, you have to take the kid gloves off and be like, okay, I'm going to treat you as a serious threat now, because otherwise it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I got better with it after time as I started understanding your GM style and shit, and it was oh yeah, I don't need to be super overpowered or anything. I just need to be good at what I do, and usually the enemies will follow suit. Mm-hmm. Usually, so I stopped building ridiculously overpowered.
Yeah, I built NPCs a lot to do, especially in Wild Talents. I build NPCs as power sets, which I think are cool.
Yeah,
which may or may not be useful. By the way, Vera was also designed by Ron, which is why she did not die. But that became entertaining in its own right, just because. So Wild Talents was obviously, Lucky mentioned it. That's the big game that he joined in. Metahuman Renaissance. I still have those setting notes. I don't know if I'll ever run through the other 3 acts of that story, or 2. But I thought of some stuff. It's probably horribly dated by now, because the game was actually set in 2012, or in 2011 or whatever, in the future. When it started running. It is no longer that date in the past, so. But I wrote it as kind of like my kitchen sink super setting for Wild Talents, because, why not? I listened to some games of Wild Talents in a kitchen sink super settings, and I was like, this is super cool. I've got some themes I want to approach. So, we started with 3 characters. And me with, at the time, I was really enamored with actual play podcasts who would do rotating GMs. They would have GMs take over for certain plot arcs, and I was like, okay, I can write this open enough so that can work. It didn't really happen that way. So I built what became basically a GMPC, but I built a quote-unquote player character for myself as, a viewpoint to the world. So that was Adam Doe, because his name was censored by the government, because a mad scientist experimented on him and gave him alien cyborg implants that let him create a psychic sword. And then later a psychic shield. And then later psychic wings. That was all in play. But he started with just a sword. Which was really cool that he could do some sword stuff with it, and he could sword boy really good. But
sword boy.
The first character I got back, I think, was Marth's character, Boris, who was a hitman for the Russian mob, who started off just with some gene mod implants, so he was really good at shooting. Now, this may actually, I don't know if Lucky actually would realize this, because by the time he met Boris was a cyborg with robot arms. That's because well, I don't know if I'd call her third or fourth character, but one of the other characters, Vera, had a really unique power in that there's a lot of other weird backstory stuff going on, but she had a weird ancient magical power of healing, so she could control life and death, and she had a constant self-regeneration, which was pretty robust. She could heal with a touch, and she could... eventually, she bought enough dice to have a power to basically disintegrate with a touch, to erode your life away. Ron designed this character for his then-girlfriend. So, yeah, that's how that happened. And she had some other stuff that she didn't actually get around to. She could actually auto-revive or bring people back from the dead. It just had a base will cost that just never actually got that far, that anybody died and she had to undie them. But Vera was really robust. So showcasing what Vera's mindset was, when all you have is a hammer, during an incident where we needed Boris to stop shooting people because of reasons, she melted both of Boris's arms off. And Boris was a little pissed off about this and didn't let her grow his arms back. He got sick robot arms instead, and that became his MO.
Fuck yeah,
and
robot arms.
later, this also activated his latent mutant powers, and he was also Colossus, but with robot arms. I'm not really sure what Marth was doing with Boris. Maybe I'll ask him sometime if he remembers. But Boris was actually a lot of fun. Mostly because he had like a wiggle die in shooting. So as crazy as Ron's character was, and actually, did Ron punch his arms off? Because Ron also had disintegrating. Ron's character Feng had he was a monk, like a Shaolin monk, who was also accidentally bonded to a demon ghost, who was his grandpa. His grandpa, the demon ghost. Don't ask me how that worked out. Ron came up with a lot of backstory of this character that didn't necessarily actually matter because he ran away from home and was in America for some reason. So he had a variety of kung fu powers, and also he could turn the demon on to get extra demon powers and disintegrating punch things and breathe fire. And also he had a special flowing water ability to like move out of the way or block bullets and stuff, and he had like armor and other powers. And he had lots of wiggle dice because Ron always made sure that he had enough penalties that he could usually buy wiggle dice and stuff. He really wants to succeed at things.
Yeah, he does.
So he may have, his attacks were also disintegrating, so he may have punched Boris's arms off. I don't know. I think it was Vera, though, because, like I said, that kind of encapsulated Vera's early personality, which was, well, I can literally just fix you, so why the fuck wouldn't I blow your arms off?
Yeah.
She got better at that over time, but at first there was definitely a lot of arrogance in her character to be like, well, I'm the master of life and death, so... Oh, I'm just gonna get... There was... Yeah. I think this was you... I don't think you were around for this. There was a very memorable session where these guys were sneaking into a base, and Vera got attacked by a guy with a flamethrower, and got set on fire, and she realized the damage from being on fire didn't exceed her regen, so she just sucked it up and was on fire for a good couple combat rounds, and I was like... So basically, eventually, your skin keeps regenerating, your clothes do not. You've ended up basically naked in the enemy base with nothing except your domino mask because... I think fire explicitly doesn't damage the head over time. So this was like a really funny situation. She was just like, shit, I'm literally wandering around the enemy base naked because I didn't care enough to put myself out on fire. But yeah, so this was the team I was with. So you may notice there was a slight balance discrepancy there. But I worked around it. Wild Towns was a lot of fun. That's a game system that's super fun to run if you can get the players invested in the stuff. Because it's so flexible and free in terms of building. Like, it has hard rules on everything, but those hard rules give a lot of freedom. Like, you can, if you look at the rules hard enough, figure out how to do anything as a power. And the game is like, yeah, your powers can be broken, because it's an example like, hey, want to turn off the sun? Here's how. And they literally let you know what the point value for the ability to, I think it's stop nuclear fusion.
Yep. And
how to build it to scale that you could turn off the sun. And then it's like, okay, what do you do with that power? Like, you obviously don't want to turn off the sun, because unless you've invested a lot of points in being able to survive through everything, you will die. But in storytelling terms, what does being able to turn off the sun actually get you? And that's how I approached it a lot, because eventually I just got, like with the setting Vera on fire thing, eventually it was to a point where I was like, okay, so even if I could actually do enough damage to your head or something that you die right away, you would just burn a point of base will and come back to life in, like, the next scene. Because that's a thing you can do. That's, I think, another example of power that you can Lazarus yourself.
Yep.
So it's like, so there's no point in trying to kill you, per se. And I think her immunities also mean that she eventually got over, like, poison and stuff. Anything biological you could do, Vera would just get over it. So I was like, what can I do that will actually matter? Well, first of all, so non-living constructs were a huge pain in the ass for Vera, because her powers didn't affect those. And just like I said, stuff like setting her on fire, knocking her unconscious, she got captured at some point and, like, imprisoned because there's not anything, and there was, like, lots of stuff. Also, Vera was remarkably experimental with her powers. She literally kept one of her own hands in a fridge just in case she ever needed to regenerate from a single cell. I really wish that someday I'd been able to pull the trigger on that plot hook and be like, oh, alas, Vera was reduced to cinders, and then all of a sudden Vera just climbs out of her fridge.
Yeah, I think
I got better.
Like explained it as her regeneration works on the largest clumping of cells she has.
Yeah, that was basically how we explained it. So I think, yeah, we discussed that mechanic, and then she was like, okay, then I'm gonna take a cleaver and I'm gonna hack one of my hands off. I'll get better, and I'm just gonna ice it in my fridge so it doesn't get gross.
And it's just one of those moments of like, okay, girl.
Vera was scary in the most polite way because she ran like a free clinic in the bad side of town. Like, she used her powers to heal people. They thought she was a miracle from God, kind of thing. That was the game setting where I really realized that being a superhero is basically just being the mafia, but for good. That's what the campaign turned into. Was just well, actually, what it'll take is we need to be running a campaign that I'm letting other people in at the moment. But yeah, no,
so we're beta testing a lot of Mages of War.
Yeah,
now,
the Mages of War campaign was explicitly started as, okay, fuck it, nobody wants to hang out with us. We're gonna play buddy cop games.
Yeah.
And I don't know when we'll be done with that. But there's some other games I want to play sometime. So I'm sure I will pull from people because I kind of like I listen to a lot of actual plays. There are times when I miss bigger groups. Like having the actual 4 to 6 sweet spots real fun.
No, fuck this goddamn aggressive bullshit. Damn it. Sorry guys, I'm playing Extella Link and I'm getting really mad at this extra map because it's hard, yo.
Oh, hey, by the way, I did film some more Extella Link. I beat the first story link. You're right that conclusion is not very conclusive.
Nope.
Though Mecha Carl was fun. But also, I love that the game immediately spoils after you complete it, and you can see the whole list of days again. It's like, by the way, to get to this completely different day route, you have to beat, what is it, chapters like 18 and 17 or 18, or whatever the normal ending ones is, and then talk to Archimedes after completing chapter 2. I'm like, well, gosh, game, spoilers. But I love that it just telegraphs like, the fuck out of it.
Again, like, and like shit is not explained. So I'm just like, god damn it.
Whatever.
So like,
whatever. I also played an extra map and I got to play as Skahawk a little bit, and I'm like, yes. That Let's Play is out, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because I played as Skahawk on an extra map, so.
Like right now, I'm on like the level like 56 extra map. And the problem is... The what?
I said that's a lot of level.
Yeah, no. My Tamamo right now is level 61. But the problem is the aggressors. Specifically the aggressors, the tall, lanky ones that have sword arms.
Yes, those fuckers. I hate that they brought them back from regular Extella.
Yeah, no.
The swordy ones are always the most annoying.
Yeah, because they'll do these moves that just stun lock you and continuously do damage to you. And if I take so much damage, I can't get rank EX, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm trying to save, like, it's one of those things, like, I'm not even gonna fucking, like, I don't even, like, try to fight them. It's like, I see one that's like, no, Moondrive, Explosion Ball, go! I see one,
I think that's really I think that's what they want you to do there, is they want you to do your Moondrive skill and just ice them.
Because, like, it's getting hard. Because, like, you know, I have, like,
that or just, I don't know. How hard is it to, when the difficulty gets up to reliably Noble Phantasm multiple times?
Oh, that's
another thing you can do. You can just nuke the whole sector.
Like, right now, I'm at 8 minutes and 54 seconds, because I paused it. And I've already Noble Phantasm once, and I am 3/4 away full through another bar, and I haven't even picked up one of the Phantasm circuits.
So that's another thing you can do if you had the option and wanted to just blow up a bunch of these fuckers at once. But where were we? You were talking about tabletop stuff. Yeah, Wild Talents is a great system that I think... Like, I know a lot of people like, like Mutants and Masterminds and stuff.
God fucking damn it!
I'm not super familiar with the way that's run, but, like, no, it's a really robust system. But yes, I was also, I think, lamenting that like, I wouldn't mind a larger group sometimes for some stuff. Some games I feel much more comfortable with, like I said, the 4 to 6 amount.
As I said, I could keep telling people, once I get more people interested in playing my fucking Nemesis game, I'll actually start fucking working on it. Like, I literally just have Omega. No one else I've talked to seems interested, so I'm just like...
I mean, I think Ron is interested. He's just a little flighty sometimes.
He's
Like
hella
it's hard
flighty.
to get a straight response out of him sometimes.
Oh,
I
actually,
assume
if
it's
you're
'cause he's
interested, go down the Nemesis rulebook and tell me when you've done that, and I'll give you instructions from there. And my sectors are being taken. It's a plant! Fuck this thing! So, like, speaking of our wild talents, like, I honestly feel like, because I want to, talk about my character a little bit, like, my character was, kind of built by Ron, but, man, there was a lot of, like, moral conflict, like, immediately. I was literally, like, the white knight of the room. It's like, no, we can't kill all these people, and they're like,
yeah, you were the actual player, I think, who was the token good player. Like, before you showed up, Adam was the guy keeping these guys on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Which was hard
then
sometimes.
It was just like, I was like, oh my god, like, I like the first session, like, I kind of went overboard, because then I realized, like, actually how destructive my abilities were, and I was like,
yeah, you blew up a boat.
God. Yeah, I
blew up a guy in one shot, because you were like, oh shit, it's the big scary boss guy. And your character immediately developed a distaste for magic, aka Wooj.
Yep, Wooj.
And this was a big Woojy undead Chinese sorcerer, and you were just like, I'm not dealing with this.
So, yeah, but like, I was kind of White Knight, but also kind of Robin Hood, because I had no qualms. I had qualms about killing people. I had no qualms about stealing their shit.
We should also at least mention that at the time we ran into your character, very fitting with MHR, you were basically, imagine Hobo with a shotgun, but instead with lightning powers.
Yep. I was not...
You were Hobo Static Shock, basically.
Yep. Living vagrants. I was wandering from city to city looking for answers. We never really developed that, but
we didn't get into that yet. Don't worry. I had a huge sprawling backstory that was going to explain everything, and Super Sinister and Men in Black were involved.
Oh god.
And like literally everything, or possibly Mad Science. I fucking love Mad Science.
Oh, Axe, it's not that I think you're not worth listening, but I need to see you be more than just like, oh yeah, I want to play, and then have everything handed to you. It's like, the system's called Nemesis, it's the one-roll engine. I died. I see Tomomo's panties.
Rip? Question mark? I should say, like, it's, on the one hand, it's a little, I'm presuming you have a copy of Nemesis, probably because I gave you a copy of Nemesis, so.
No, I actually found the copy of Nemesis myself.
Did you? Interesting.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm sure I showed you guys a copy at one point then, but, anyway. Yeah, you can look at Nemesis, though.
Yeah, I had to torrent that shit.
Wait, hold on. Is it literally? I think it's literally on their website for free. I'm like, Axe, this is so easy. Literally just Google Nemesis ORE. Like, it's so easy, I'm not going to actually just give you the link to it, but seriously, it's really easy to find if you didn't find it already. Yeah, ORE, Nemesis. I'm apparently looking at it right now as a document form on on Arc Dream's website. I think this is everything that's in the PDF I have. I don't know if they made this like free to play later or what.
Oh my god. Literally, that aggressor just takes out, like, it does that sword drive move, and it's like half my health gone.
Yeah, and they were real pains in the dick.
I'm trying to kill fucking Darius, and the aggressors all like, check out my sword arms, bro.
Yeah, I think
I'm about to fucking lose this so hard. Why the fuck?
Yeah, hold on, let me double check if that's the same, because I'll check if that's the same size as the PDF I have. Yes, 52 pages. That is correct. Congratulations, Axe, you have found Nemesis. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Lucky's working off of as his GM. So yeah. Hey, congratulations, guys. You just saw us introduce one more person into the wonderful world of One Real Engine. And
it's great.
Nemesis. Right on mic.
And so now I get one more player, and maybe you can see about playing. Well, I'll see working on this fucking game.
Yay! I get to play. Yeah, speaking of Ron's flightiness, that's the other thing. He was running MHR West Coast, which was also super interesting because I got to play in my own universe. But I think we've mentioned that before. But you were talking about Zeus. Zappybuns.
Zeus! Yeah, but, yeah, I was definitely Robin Hood. I didn't like killing people, but I said, like, I had no problem about stealing the shit. Like, I took, like, high-tech generators, medical technologies. I stole planes. It's like, this is mine now.
Yeah, this was why for the longest time the authorities couldn't figure out that you guys were vigilantes, which was also illegal at the time, but still. Like, they thought it was just a gang war because you kept stealing everybody's shit, and also you killed lots of people until Zeus showed up. Like, oh my god, so many people.
Yeah.
Because like we said, Boris had that wiggle die, and Wild Talents is a damage silhouette system, so you've got so many wound boxes. Your head doesn't have a lot of wound boxes, and if your head gets taken out with killing damage, you die. So, I think you need 4 killing in the head to croak. So a pistol is normally like within shotgun killing. So you get like a big boy pistol.
Right now, read through the document later when we're done recording. I'll give you some information you need to know while making a character, right? So I'm not gonna leave you hanging. I just don't want to be like explaining this all while we're recording.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, I have a story to tell you off mic, just because I don't necessarily know if I want to involve rando people we know in our on mic stuff. It's not like a bad story or anything, audience. I just don't know if I should tell personal anecdotes about my interactions with others on mic when they're not going to hear about it.
Let's see here.
But yeah, so basically, I was talking about how Boris was a man gun. He was a gunman, and so he had like a couple free wiggle dice on shooting. I think his coordination. Oh, no, now I remember. He started with hard dice in coordination. That's right. So hard dice are a type of die you can roll in One Roll Engine games. Well, not really roll, because they're automatically set to 10s. And in hit location terms, 10 is the head. So he would always roll 2d10 to the head, and then also sometimes add some extra 10s. So everybody got shot in the face and died all the time. Feng had wiggle dice, so he would just punch people into dust a lot. So, yeah, the team was not very good at non-lethal for a long time. I think Vera had to specifically buy into a stun power later. Like, she went out of her way after killing so many people to be like, maybe I should save more lives. Because it's a real pain in the ass to fix people after I disintegrate them.
Yeah, so, like, with Zeus, like, there's every player has their particular quirks, and my quirk is my particular player quirk is I like bases and I like stuff. I'm very materialistic.
Which, by the way, as a GM, I also like those things, and also specifically for the metahuman Renaissance setting was basically set up to be like, yo, you guys are the first front runners really in a new wave of vigilante superheroes. Like, you are. The human race is going through kind of a cycle where metahumans are getting more common again, and so there's going to be a new generation of supers, basically, and you guys were the front runners. So the theme of gathering resources and building bases and contact networks and all that stuff was a huge theme that you guys all took to really well, and I loved.
Yeah.
Even though I had to do lots of dumb voices for dumb people.
So, like, Zeus got in there, he, like, stopped the gang, like... He stopped the gang war by literally going to one of the top guys, but like, your gang is mine now, and like shock fisting people. Like, that was literally like my most common used power. Is I had this non-lethal touch electric attack that I usually would just go
guess
for.
What? In Wild Talents, you actually get powers cheaper if you make them shock damage only.
Yeah. So it was non-lethal, and I would just like grab people in the head because it had electrocuting. And so it would just do shock damage all throughout, and they just hit the ground. I'm all like, but you are alive. Thank count your blessings that it was me and not the fucking creepy guy with a mask.
Yes. So Ron's character Feng basically bought down a lot of... Because it's a dice pool point buy system, and you design your powers with certain what they call extras. Extras and flaws. So extras add points, how many build points it costs to buy a die, and so the more dice you have, the bigger your dice pool. And thus you can make matches, and that's how One Roll Engine works. But he bought down all of his, like, he had like non-physical disintegrating, and all kinds of other fun stuff. You know, he bought a fire breath power that was like spray fire. Lots of extras. He bought all this down with stuff like horrifying and other extras like that and obvious. So basically, he described his character as like, so when I turn my demon powers on, I'm basically covered in unlimited howling demon arms covered in scary eyeballs that look everywhere. So he was real freaky. which is okay for him because he wasn't the social character. I think we didn't have, other than Vera, and once again, poor Adam, poor beset upon Adam, as the character I wanted to play as my player character if we ever did that rotation, was stuck being the normal human who speaks to people. I think he was the only one who eventually bought into some, like, social dice. So that's also another thing Zeus did when he got here, was it was like, basically Feng can only intimidate people, and he also barely speaks English. And then we have Vera, but like we said, at character creation, Vera was a lot less cuddly than she could have been for a healer. So I think you were the only character with well-rounded social skills. Or at least, you were the only one who took risks.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those things I noticed, especially in adventuring. A lot of people think tabletop is, alright, we're gonna go kill things and get experience and level up and get better loot so we can do this all over again.
Luckily, because I think I taught these guys pretty quick. The first time they raided a gang hideout and shot everybody in the head and had to run away from police, there were I regularly did headlines as kind of like a new plot hooks and also how the city was reacting to these people. There were multiple headlines about horrific gang war in the streets, dozens dead, police calling for a gang crackdown. Like, after you do that for about 3 or 4 weeks, the players start to get the impression like, man, we should leave less bodies.
Boom,
everybody except for Feng, but that's because Feng was playing a literal demon hunter possessed by a demon, so, he was, fire and brimstone lawful good. He was technically a moral person, but his morality system was, well, I'll just stab and or demon punch them to death if they're doing evil.
Yeah. I said, actually, in-game, Fang just had to come to blows. It's like, no, you can't kill them! It's like, they're evil! God damn it! It was good, though. I really enjoyed it. It was kind of funny because in the West Coast campaign, I played kind of a apathetic scientist character who was bonded with a parasite, who was all like, I'm all about that research, yo. But guess what? I still really like base building and stuff. God damn it. Can't escape it.
No, we spent way too much time figuring out bases in Mages of War.
I fucking love bases in Mages of War.
But it's like, hey, it's kind of why I wrote the system, because I was thinking about stuff, and I was like, after I did construction, I was also like, okay, but what if you have a permanent post? And then it's like, and what if you don't have a permanent post? What does that mean if you're out in the woods, right? Like, if you picked certain character options or certain unit options that you were like, oh yeah, we're stranded in the middle of nowhere, and we don't have access to shit. How does that work? So I came up with regular stuff and just oh yeah, so if you don't have an armory where they store your guns, it becomes really fucking hard to roll to procure things and to get reloads for your standard shit.
By the way, Nick, you're roboting pretty hard. You sounding okay? Am I sounding okay to you?
No, you're roboting a little to me too. Do we want to pause the recording and leave Discord and come back really quick?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
All right, well, we're unpaused. We're back. We think we're okay. We'll see.
Things sound clear.
What the fuck were we talking about? Completely lost it.
Well, we were talking about I remember I mentioned that I had played. Oh, you were talking about base building and.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we were just talking about how my design philosophy for the bases in Mages of War just kind of took off from the fact that I was like, I really need to think about what goes where in times, and what does it actually mean to be at a base, right? Because this is a very military type game, and what does it mean to not be at a base? So that kind of took off from there, and then that gave lots of options, and then we basically did how the system is set up. I kind of ran down the line. I was like, okay, so you definitely have these basic facilities. I'm pretty sure you've got some of these, and then I started running down the line. It's like, okay, well, what sort of optional facilities do you have? And, you guys were actually really honest for players, and were just like, no, I don't think we have we definitely don't have a campus. I don't think we have a gymnasium. That kind of stuff. But it took us a while to run all that down.
A what?
I said it took us a while to, run down all that list.
Yeah, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, I like the base building, and then, I took all the base groupings we had, and I started putting them together. I was like, all right, so this building and this building would be together. This would be here, and we got this. It gave me like a general layout of like how the actual base is set up. And I was like, this is cool. And then immediately my mind went to, all right, how the fuck am I gonna upgrade this base? Hey, we got some anti-air guns left over at the fort. Oh, the fucking Von Mustache didn't take them? Okay, they're ours now. Let's set that shit up.
Yes, let's put some gun turrets. Just in case keys.
Just in case keys. This is the problem I'm having right now with Mages of War, is that I'm using out-of-game knowledge and real-world events to kind of influence my decisions. We actually had a little bit of talk about that on the last session.
Yeah, and actually, by the way, I did some extra research. It's actually a very funny story. In real life, one of the first colonial governors of Southwest Africa was actually interested in colonization without bloodshed.
Wow.
That didn't actually work out, but like I said, I think the way that kind of like, because magic is supposed to be a tactical, it's a very vast tactical equalizer. And especially specifically in South Africa, a lot of the tension that led to rebellions and stuff was because new settlers were coming in to start farms and stuff, and they were encouraged by the government to displace natives. As farmers, that's a lot harder to unilaterally displace natives when, like I said, you guys visited a couple villages in that section. They usually had a couple of mages around as, like, local village wise people and spiritualists and stuff, because, they actually do the magical stuff. Like I said, it's a lot harder as just, regular old farmers to displace locals if they can, like, make it rain needles from the sky or have the earth swallow you whole or something. So, but we also talk about that as just like as a generality. I haven't dived too deeply into how exactly that works. I've thought about writing a fluff section on that, but I haven't decided whether or not I want to do that. But I definitely wanted to make it so that, like, a lot of imperialism and colonialism was a lot less of it, maybe not a colonialism, but a lot less imperialism was an influence on the setting, just because I was like, the socio-political stuff around some of these fronts is horrifying, but also it's a huge pain in the ass. And it's not something I want to, like, it's like lots of other historical inspired settings. I don't want anybody to go thinking or feel like they have to deal with, like, discriminatory shit because they're in a historical setting, right? I'm just like, no, just don't bother with those themes. Don't bother with that. Think about how war is really shitty anyway, because it is. Like, that's the thing I wanted people to engage with. So, for the moment, the idea is that, like, listen, like, whole-scale slavery and genocide is kind of considered to be a tool of the demons who have tried to subjugate humanity in the past, and nobody wants to be a demon if they're real. And mages are a little bit more keen on that than others, so like I said, it's hard to cotton even your mages into selling out other people's mages, because there's a little bit of, like, mage fraternity going on, because they've seen some shit that you people wouldn't believe. Your character is one of those. You have very explicitly seen some stuff that people literally don't believe.
It forever haunts my dreams, has turned me paranoid.
Literally. And, yeah, that actually influenced some other decisions, because you guys were thinking about ritual casting, and you wanted to make it rain diamonds and other gemstones, and I was like, hey, BG Dubs, this is going to be a really high complexity, don't fuck this up.
Yep.
Because the backlash, the magic mishap on the failure would automatically be real bad. Magic mishaps are fun. I think I might need to recalibrate that table sometime, but it's pretty fun. I feel like greater backfire happens way too much, though.
The what?
I feel like greater backfire happens way too much, though. Like,
yeah, I was about to say, it's like, yeah, our clothes explode a lot.
Yeah, it's either... And that might be lesser backfire, I don't know. I'd have to double check. There's 2 backfires. I might reduce that to just 1 backfire. But, like, it's almost always either backfire or because you guys rolled doubles but succeeded, the severity is reduced, and then it's something basic like flash. Or wind. Dramatic wind or dramatic flash. I think at least once you glowed with an awesome power.
I remember in the Scythian front, once I generated a ether storm or something.
Yeah, I think you generated an aether burst. Actually, let me go ahead and run through the table for the audience who might not. I know lots of people do actually read my Mages of War PDF. I don't get feedback directly from those people, but randos have corrected my grammar in really annoying ways, and also other errors. But if you haven't actually looked at that table, let me describe that to people. Oh god, we're in a dangerous way. My Discord tab has become separated out randomly. Okay, let's not. Whew. Okay, saved it. But while my document's loading, slowly. Listen, it's a big boy book.
It is a big boy book.
Where is... That's too far. Magic talents. Magic is just before gear. So let's see if that's loaded. Yeah, okay.
I love gear.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's probably greater backfire that happens a lot. So, you start with wind. It just, dramatic wind happens.
Dramatically.
There's a glow, which is you gently glow for a few rounds. There's the regular backfire, which just, there's a little bit of concussive pop. It damages your armor and clothing one step, but doesn't do anything else. Then there's flash. Anybody who's looking at you has to roll agility or be blinded for a little bit. There's one that I don't think has ever happened in-game yet, but there's tone. Your spell produces like a weird sound that kind of like lingers for a few rounds and just ooh, and you have to make a test or like take penalties.
No, I think that happened on the side of the infront because we were in a metal box and that happened or something that was loud and annoying.
There's static, which is you get random electrical discharges. There's greater backfire, which is you explode a lot and your shit flies around. Squall has definitely happened, I think, at least once. It starts to rain. And I think actually it happened on one of your castings in that session that got recorded. The water mage accidentally made it rain. The high-level stuff I don't think has ever happened, other than, like you said, maybe that one Aether Burst.
Yeah.
Mental contamination can happen, which means you are supposed to act in accordance with your elemental affinity for, like, several hours. There's Heatwave or Cold Snap, which is, it depending on the nature of the spell, it either suddenly gains or loses heat in the environment, so that's a big fun thing. Mana draw, you can suck up extra mana. By the way, past Aether Burst and into mana draw and stuff, that's all requires you to have failed the check because it's over 100 on the result, which is normally a percentile. So mana draw, there's Phantasm, which means you start suffering hallucinations and require a fear test. There's a super fun one, Hemorrhage, you start bleeding from everywhere. Self-destruct, your Aether Core explodes.
Oh god.
Or your focus explodes and you do damages centered on yourself. It's like that one guy who suicided in Tanya. And 50 plus is Spatial Rip. Space and time is torn asunder, and which creates a void from which emerges a member of the enemy of the marshal's choosing. So just chimeras or goblins or trolls or demons or giants or whatever will just fucking crash your party.
Please no. It's profit.
You have to fuck up a lot, though.
Profitness. Like that session, I had a lot of fun. Even though we was just literally like, it was the faffing about session.
Yeah, but I think it was really good to for once actually faff about, like, because the game was deliberately started with like minimal backstory. It was just I randomly rolled the campaign setting and was like, where you guys told me you wanted to play Stall, so I was like, where is Germany fighting that is arid and summery? Oh, there's a couple African fronts. Let's put you in Namibia because most of that country's desert. And so, like, we didn't necessarily super nail down on any, like, deep background themes. So this is, like, one of the first times I think I've actually explicitly dedicated large amounts of downtime and been like, BT Dubs, you have something to do in your downtime because a major holiday is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
We're literally going to have a Christmas episode next time. I haven't been super deep working on anything tabletop. I have been chipping away occasionally at 2020. I have lots of ideas, but I need to like do them in certain orders for stuff. Like sometime I want to work on those weapon talents because those aren't just trainings. There's also going to be other stuff that would normally be like advanced career or nation abilities. But I've been slowly working through some weapons. I did melee weapons, both regular and exotic, today. So Lucky, I want to read this list to you and like you let me know if you feel like I'm missing anything.
All right.
So for regular melee and fist weapons, the kind of stuff you can get training in, you've got your normal unarmed attack.
Mm-hmm.
You've got brass knuckles, which are concealable. You've also got shock gloves, which are concealable and have a stun effect. You've got the old ballistic fist or glove gun. so you can punch people with a bullet. This is the only melee weapon, I think, that has a mag score. There's a police baton, which is meant to be like a Tonfa-style side-handle baton, so it's got defensive and ups your damage a little bit. There's a collapsible baton, which is the police baton, but instead of defensive, it's concealable, because concealable is a new tag. I feel like that's not a thing to care enough about in regular Mages of War, and also all your guns are huge. So that's a thing that's added later. It's like, oh, when you might actually be living a civilian life or dealing with, more complex government regulations, the ability to conceal stuff is more important.
Oh, yeah.
There's a shock baton, which is stun. There's a riot shield, which is a normal-ass melee weapon, which is defensive and stun. There's a combat knife. There's a machete, which is a slightly more damage with some extra effects knife. There's a straight razor, which is concealable and devastating. And then there's a sledgehammer as like you also use that as a breaching tool, so yes, you can just hit people with it. And then there's improvised weapons. So that's the non-exotic melee weapons. And now for exotics, I added the sword cane. The longsword is back, your favorite. The epee, which is basically the rapier, only now it's explicitly called an epee, because that's a modern style of fencing weapon used for sport, so.
By the way, what was before the epee? I couldn't hear. I didn't hear.
Oh, I said the longsword returns, your favorite.
Yep.
The katana is back, because of course, you can't have a modern semi-cyberpunk setting without katanas. The staff returns. It's not called a quarterstaff, but it's a staff now. I also got nunchaku in there, because, again, nerds. Nunchucks.
Nerds!
For an exotic weapon, there's the survival spear, because this is a thing you can fucking buy on the internet. You can buy tactical spears. That's one of your reach options. There's the glass knife, which I mentioned to you, as like, literally they're knives made out of glass, so that metal mages can't fuck with them. The throwing knife and the tomahawk return, because tactical tomahawks are also a thing. And as an exotic melee weapon, I stuck a chainsaw in there. You don't get your strength mod on it, but it does a lot of damage.
Ning ning, motherfucker.
So yeah, do you think there was anything I missed that's like obvious there as like a modern thing? Because I feel like
I'd say machetes. Like, I own a machete.
No, machete's
right
in
now.
there. You may have missed me say that. Machete's in there. It's one of the upgrades to bladed weapons.
All right, I missed that. There was another one I said. Riot shield? Is that in there?
Yep. Well, actually, honestly, you have the access to the document. You can just look at the list.
Oh shit, that's right.
I read it out for the audience. But yeah, so there's most of the standard melee weapons that like people who go through normal modern melee training would cover are impact or small blades. Like,
let's see here, Mages 2020.
Nobody picks up a fucking sword these days.
Oh yeah, a chain, just a heavy chain.
Yeah, actually, I've been thinking about that. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that, but I probably should.
Well, I would say like if you're doing like cyberpunk setting, it's like it ain't punk unless someone's like swinging a train around menacingly with a mohawk.
True facts. That's a very pink mohawk.
I don't see anything. Let me go.
I gotta think if a chain's a normal melee weapon or an exotic melee.
Let's see here. Ballistic fist.
Yeah.
Collapsible tongue.
Which technically the ballistic fist probably should be exotic, but at the same time it's also
you do have a right shield. Okay, there it is.
It's also just a gun you punch people with. Like, how complex is that?
Let's see here. Yeah, like I miss you missing like I miss like you saying like at least 3 or 4 of these. No, I'm looking at them.
I should expect that just because I was listing a lot of things without pauses. Thanks, Internet.
Good job, Internet.
But yeah, so that's just, like, I had to have some real thoughts about, what.
Yeah, but let's see, like I see.
Does melee stuff, in a modern time.
I mean, it's like, you never know. It's all like, if you know, it's like, oh yes, you're a mage. You have all these magic powers and guns for days. What you gonna do? I'm gonna take the sword and I'm gonna run up to people and hit them with it.
I mean, you are kind of the build that's optimized for that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Let's see, what weapons do I have? Let me see here. Let's see here. I have a bunch of knives. I have a machete. I have gun.
Knife. Gun. Knife gun.
Let's see here. I don't know if bayonets are really a thing. Will be a thing in the
that would like Legion. Technically a weapon mod could be to get a bayonet ring, but that's really just you you put the combat knife on the end of your gun and you stab people with it.
Like, I could go grab a Shadowrun book and see what the fuck they have.
Well, they've also got like weird stuff like
I know,
monofilament katanas. That'll probably be a new mod, which will be you can file down to a monofilament edge, you giant nerd.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the whip, or like the riding crop, if you want to get like that kind of shit.
Well, yeah, whips are in default Mages of War, so I could also do that. Whips are actually kind of handy because they give you a few meters of reach, and they count as touch. So you could do touch spells from a distance through your whip.
I'd also say, actually, no, that wouldn't be it. No, actually, it could be. I guess it could be a melee weapon. The motherfucking net. It's like, or lasso.
Yeah, I think fishing net was marked as gear, so probably like a man net would be a gear thing. Yeah, probably.
You get up there, you run them, you throw that net on them. That's like, get tangled up, motherfucker. Let's see here. I'm really tempted just to go run and get a Shadowrun book here. Actually, I am. Hang on 1 second here. I'll be right back.
I'm thinking about bolas now. Those are a fun thing. Are there tactical bolas? Let me look that up. Basically, if I can Google tactical in front of something, it can probably end up. Because I don't necessarily want to, like... Well, while Lucky's up and getting, and I've got you here, audience, I don't necessarily want to get into, like, a deeper conversation about the nature of self-defense and, like, the culture of weaponry. But boy howdy, there are some Mall Ninja tactical nerds out there who do some dumb stuff. But
alright, because I'm a fucking because I fucking love sci-fi settings, I grabbed my Shadowrun 4th Ed edition core rulebook, 5th Ed edition core rulebook, and my Eclipse Phase core rulebook.
Well, yeah. So you're probably not going to find anything in EP because, hey, I may have already... I assumed that the EP devs did more research than I needed to do about how far lasers can shoot you, so I may have stole some energy weapon ranges when research wouldn't help me figure out how far away lasers are supposed to hurt you. Though, guess what? There's a lot of fucking research on some of this stuff, so I was able to get stuff like the fact that a Dazzler can hit you at 5 kilometers.
Wow.
That's okay, the Dazzler doesn't actually do any damage to you, it's just a flash weapon. You can literally just blind people from far away. It's heavy as fuck, though.
Where the fuck is the...
And I haven't written it yet, but exotic ranged weapons is going to be fun. That's where you're going to get stuff like compound bow, tactical crossbow, blowgun again, probably. Spear gun, because spear guns will be a thing. And you never know when you have to fight underwater. I'll come up with some other stuff. Like, apparently, I don't know when it was, but I think it may have been post-World War II, but apparently the Germans converted a flamethrower to shoot a liquidized form of CS gas. And I'm like, yes, that's a horrible thing I can give to players. I can give you a literal riot gun that shoots tear gas water out of it. Oh, Pepperball will be in there.
Alright, so I found, let's see here, 4th edition's melee gear list. It includes blades with a combat axe, which we got. We got the tomahawk. Well, actually, no, I guess it's just like a standard old axe. I mean, you got a sledgehammer. They have forearm snap blades, which those...
Oh, yeah.
Things.
Implant weapons are going to be a whole different list.
Yep. A club. I'm just saying things that you haven't already had, like just a club or sap. Just maybe a plank of wood that you beat someone over the head with.
Well, we have improvised weapon blunt.
Yeah.
The improvised weapon stats are, other than the fact that the improvised tag means that stuff might break, are actually fairly generous. Like, it's not like... Other than the fact that, like, picking up a baseball bat and hitting somebody with it is probably, like, not as accurized as, like, using a properly balanced baton. But you can still do some hurt. Like, if you want to pick up a kitchen knife and stab somebody. You did make me think of something, though, I can put, since you talked about axe. This is a thing that exists.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Okay, this book is heavy. Whew. Alright, let's see here.
Audience, I'm putting fire axe on the list. God, that means fire axe is going to go in my... Gonna go on my search list.
Street gear for
Dear Google, how much does a fire axe weigh? 6 pounds.
421. Let's roll over here to this one. Back of the book, bitches. Whew. No. Pretty much the same list. Alright. And I'll skip looking through Eclipse phase.
Yes, alright, so I'll add a regular fire axe, because that's much like the sledgehammer, that's a thing you would find lying around and have a use for.
Mm-hmm.
That also, a mage might look at this and go, so I can use magic to make this really fucking baller, and I'm just going to axe people with it. And actually, you know what? Well, I was about to say, there are axe gangs in places that have, like, gun laws, but then I was like, wait, you just use a tomahawk stats, and you just, instead of throwing it, you'd hit people with it. So
yeah, but that's like
keep it
tomahawk's a one-handed axe. A fire axe is a two-handed.
Yeah, that's what I mean,
axe.
though. But I was talking about, like, do I need, like, a hatchet for hatchet gangs? But I'm like, no, you just use tomahawk.
Will be fine. Yeah, tomahawk will be fine.
Just use that instead of throwing it. Hit people with it.
Like, honestly, the only difference between a tomahawk and a hatchet is really a tomahawk is actually built for combat use. A hatchet is built for as actual tool.
Yeah, and some tomahawks, I presume many tactical tomahawks, are balanced for throwing also.
Yeah. Because
everybody wants to be that one fucking Spetsnaz nerd who's doing a fucking upside-down flip tomahawk throw. In case nobody's seen that image, Google it. But yeah, I was talking about this while you were away, and I think you might have caught the tail end of it, but I was mentioning how, while obviously, I think we both have our personal beliefs on the nature of self-defense and stuff, and, you know, we don't necessarily want to get into that topic just off the cuff. There is a certain weird, like I called it, mall ninja tactical culture, which comes up with a lot of real dumb things, but at the same time, they can be real entertaining. Like I said, with my fucking tactical spear that I find this on Amazon. I'm like, what the fuck?
I mean, I can literally, like, you say mall ninja, but, like, usually in a store, there's usually some import dealer who has a bunch of fucking swords, bunch of fucking knives.
Yeah. I mean, I read those
batons.
catalogs as a teenager and was like, someday I'll have $200 to buy a shitty katana with.
Fucking,
and someday I will own a sword cane, just because sword canes are cool. Fuck you very much. Potential sword cane
like
haters.
The shit I've bought, like, for, when the world goes to shit, like, I have a machete, I've bought a gun, I bought a pistol. Like, I actually went through the proper channels for that. I actually, got my concealed permit carry, I had to do the background check. Like, it's registered and everything, so it's a completely legal gun. But I have throwing knives, I bought a lockpick set. I have an honest-to-God lockpick set.
That's one of those things I want to own someday.
And it even comes with a little... What?
Do you have a Leatherman?
I do not own a Leatherman. I do not.
We're gonna get sick Leatherman someday. Listen, I don't know why, but I fucking love multi-tools. I mean, I know why, because they're really fucking useful, and I have a shitty one that needs, like, a lot of greasing up, but it's really handy. And just...
I have a fucking... I need to actually do some maintenance on this. I have a Bali knife, a butterfly knife.
Nice.
I was like, I can't take that outside. That thing is just straight up illegal.
Yeah, no, it's, the Balisongs are kind of... with good reason, though. Yeah, like, in terms of if you're doing weapon control, it's like, yeah, no, like, I think that some blade restrictions are dumb, but, like, having a fucking, flip-out concealable, balanced knife is kind of a thing. Like, as a normal citizen, I'd be a little concerned if a dude was just walking around with, like, a machete out. Like, I understand that a machete is a tool, but if you're just walking down the street, that's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's at the very least disturbing the peace.
It's one of the main reasons why I don't like, as I said, my state, Washington State, is actually an open carry state. There's a lot of places you can't carry a gun into, but as long as the place you can't, like, carry a gun, and the list is, like, government buildings, any place that serves alcohol, schools, stuff like that. You can just carry a gun openly. You don't have to conceal it. But
yeah, I know some people are weirded out by that, but
yeah, But it's like it's on the thing. It's like I don't want to like be presenting that I have a gun to people because that's gonna make people feel really fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, like I understand why the concept of open carry makes people uncomfortable. At the same time, I'm like, but also it's one of those things where it's like that really shouldn't be a big deal. At least like I said, in America where we have, you know, a Second Amendment provision to keep and bear arms, you know. I understand that obviously that might make it weird to foreign visitors.
But yeah, as soon as I get like a good concealable holster though, yeah. That's
but
the problem,
just
though,
like they're technically like in terms of like I feel like from like a philosophical standpoint, there shouldn't necessarily be anything intimidating about a person just exercising their right to be like, hey, BT dubs, have a gun, carrying it openly so you can see it. If I go from a gun, you can see it from a mile away, kind of thing. You know,
people are just. I think it's the potential for violence.
Yeah, humans are just kind of naturally nervous creatures. I think a lot of the time, where we can be a little panicky and just we've come to expect from our society that a certain level of nonviolence, which I guess is kind of like a weird first world thing. Like I'm sure there are plenty of countries in some shitty situations where some stuff will go down where it's like, no, that's not carrying a gun's not going to freak anybody out because everybody's got guns because they're fighting for their lives all the time. So life's weird. By the way, if you hear a weird clicking sound in the background, that's me with my pocket knife, which is probably not going to be a problem anywhere because it's a couple inches long and it's really dull because it's old. But this is my
of some of the shit I have.
Actually, the audience may be familiar with this knife. This is my unboxing knife, but I just happen to have it on my computer desk for some reason. So I'm a fidgeter sometimes. Oh, I should get my fidget spinner out actually sometime. I've got one of those, but I don't mind doing a little click around. That's why I like my multi-tool because you can kind of. I like my multi-tool because you can kind of flip it around and flop out the stuff you need.
I'm sorry, I just had a scare.
Go ahead, Lucky.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I literally reached up to grab my machete, and I didn't know my Bowie knife was sitting on top of it. So when I put my machete down, my Bowie knife just fell to the floor, and it landed on my foot. Luckily, it was closed, but it was still the moment of, oh god!
Also, ow. Shit landing on your feet are pretty small, and you've got a lot of little bones in there. It's a pretty sensitive region. Trust me, I've dropped a lot of shit on my feet, and I've also gotten very good at the not dropping shit on my feet. Quick reflexes. I was just going to talk about the beautiful thing I think about really good let me double check because I looked it up for a gaming thing once, so I get Leatherman ads now all the time, which I don't mind because eventually one day I want to buy one of those things. But let's see, what are the prices for some of their really good models? They're not actually that expensive. Yeah, no, so they've got a limited edition model right now that's only $120. And you might think to yourself, boy, that seems like a lot of money. But honestly, you get a lot of fucking tools in these things. I think one of their most comprehensive models is $170. And someday I'd like to be able to put some down for some of that stuff, even if I don't necessarily need it. The whole point of a multi-tool anyway is just to be yeah, you've got literally everything you need ever.
I am personally a fan of the adage, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily go out a lot, but trust me, even just around the house, I have lived enough of my life to be listen, in your life, you always need handy to you. You always need a short blade of some kind. You need screwdrivers, and lots of other stuff is extra.
Let me grab more fucking knives here because he has a lot of knives.
Let's see, what's the charge?
I have throwing knives wrapped in fucking paracord. Pull these out too.
So let's see, what the charge is. I think their most expensive model, which means it's the most complex. It's got 9. Or should I double check for what's got the most tools? But anyway, I'll say this as an example of what they got in there. It's got needle nose pliers. It's got regular pliers. It's got wire cutters, and hard wire cutters, which I don't run into a lot, but I do a little. It's got an electrical crimper and a wire stripper. That's something I don't really need, but if I needed them, I'd really enjoy having them. It's got a couple different knife blades. It's got a saw. It's got spring-action tiny scissors. Those are another thing I think you need in your daily life at all times, is you need access to a pair of scissors. It's got a cutting hook. It's got an 8-inch ruler. It's got a can opener. It's got a bottle opener. It's got a file. It's actually got a couple files, and it's got some bit drivers, so it can work with like screw bits and stuff. And it's got a regular screwdriver in there, and like that's about like this charge model. That's about I'm looking at it and going, yeah, that's about all the tools I think I'd need at any given time. And hey, you can fit them in a fucking pocket. Listen, we exist as a species because of tools, audience. You know, our closest relatives, chimps and gorillas, are basic tool users. Orangutans are in there too. And, you know, we wouldn't be here without tool usage, so always have some tools handy. I joked about my unboxing video earlier. Like, I use my teeth a little bit in that, but at the same time, like, you know, I use fingernails, or I'll use teeth occasionally, but, like, there are just some stuff you should always have handy to you. Like I said, blade, screwdriver, scissors, a file can be handy. Like, the cut and hook and, like, the can opener and bottle openers, you know. At the very least, even if you never drink out of a bottle, if you have a bottle opener handy and somebody is ever like, shit, I don't have a bottle opener, you can be like, got you covered, bro. That's my sick multi-tool flipping noise. And honestly, like, even though we've talked about before how I don't really, I definitely probably wouldn't be drinking beer a lot of the time, and I don't generally drink alcohol. I do have a weakness for classic root beers in bottles. So, I could theoretically use a bottle opener. Let's see, I think we've been talking about tools and blades for like a good 20 minutes.
Probably.
But it's okay. We talk about fun stuff. And honestly, like, this, I think...
Oh, wait, no, I do have a little blade too. It's just not
Sick.
really, like, it's just not a real... It just doesn't have a lot on it. It's, got, like...
Actually, hold on.
8, 10... It just has, like, 10 things in it.
I'm actually going to grab mine, too, and I'll check what's in it.
I guess I'll add it to the pile.
Actually, it's funny enough. I
just forget I usually keep it in my go bag. Well, not really my go bag. It's just my hey, I'm going outside. I'm going to bring this bag of stuff just in case.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I have like for school, I got a messenger bag, and like that's, if I ever have to like go out anywhere seriously where I need to take anything, that's usually what I take, because it's got a couple pockets. It's just like, you know, throw your phone in there, throw your other shit in there.
Yeah, I throw a portable charger, my multi-tool, that's probably in my bag.
Yeah, I have a little solar charger, which is perfect for that kind of stuff. Just, you know, some shit if you ever need to go out. But I have 2 tables that are by my bedside, because I have a big queen-size bed. But one of them is like a traditional bedside table with a set of drawers that's got like my rando life supplies in it. Like, I keep medicine and some other, Q-tips, some other random shit in my top drawer, and then I have socks in the bottom drawer. Because everybody needs a sock drawer.
I guess that's all my blades. I'll take a picture of this.
But next to the other side of my bed, I have just... I'm turning my head, so my mic's getting weird. But I just have basically, I guess you'd call it an end table. So I can eat off of it while sitting on my bed and watching TV. The ultimate experience, never having to leave your room. But that's just got random shit on it, so I almost always keep my multi-tool either on that table or in the drawer in that table, just because it's always handy to me. So let's see, what do I got? I got the pliers. I got a couple of different blades in here. I've got some stuff that I'm not sure exactly. I guess that's probably... I think that's a can opener shape. Because this I got secondhand, so it's like, I'm not necessarily sure what some of this stuff is. I have a saw with a file side that's also got a ruler side. And I got a couple of screwdrivers. And I got a cutting hook.
Post this to
so it's just like...
Patrons.
Yeah, so I got a pretty basic, like, 8-tool model, but the other reason why I'm not satisfied with it is because it's, like, old and kind of creaky. Like, a lot of the tools don't open cleanly.
Chair,
it's a little rusty. But, you know, pretty handy.
Alright, now I'm going to put all my blades away.
And now I got to remember to put those back on my desk.
Yeah, if you look in the Patreon chat, I posted a pic of all my knives. I like my knives.
Oh, hey, background image for this episode. Assuming YouTube doesn't get mad at me for posting so many knives.
Knives.
We'll see. I'll chance it. I'll fucking fight you, YouTube.
So you want to see something, and now I'm like, fuck. Now you can see, like, my fucking shoes and my messy desk.
I can crop some of that out. If you actually care, I can crop a little
drink.
bit of that out.
Please.
All right, I'll crop it down to just the blades on your Tommo.
Right.
And your sick keyboard that's backlit.
Yep.
And your sick glowing mouse. That reminds me, I definitely need to buy a new mouse. And I think I'm going to, because I tested my Bluetooth headset that I had. It wasn't compatible with my PS4, so I'm going to, I think, buy a headset so I can stream better, not on my shitty earbud mic. Because I've thought about streaming Ace Combat over the week, but I was like, I'll just wait until I get the headset so people can actually hear me. We theoretically have an audience now. We're at almost...
Theoretically.
We're at, like, 50-ish away from 1,800 subs. BT Dubs, I'll go ahead and declare that because we've slowed down a little, hey, if we hit 1,800 subs, we'll have another public day. Yeah. So, there's your incentive to tell your friends. We'll do another public week of shows. And actually, tomorrow is a recording. Definitely not by the time this goes up, but we will have done Live with Lucky. Yeah. Depending on when Lucky wakes up, I don't... Actually, if you don't mind hashing this out on air, I was going to ask you about it. I was going to mention, like, I don't know if I'm going to be around so much because I'm going to have to do some stuff tomorrow, but depending on when you take that off, do you want me to just, like, hang out and play referee and maybe run the recording, or are you going to handle all the stuff solo?
If you want to handle the recording, that'd be good, because I remember last time I did the recording, it was some weird-ass fucking levels. Sounded weird. So if we want to maintain, like, the same audio quality, yeah.
Sure. I can like, hopefully I'll be around and not too busy with whatever my parents need me to do.
Like, knowing me, I'm probably not going to be, like, even if I get up earlier, it's not going to be until, like, later afternoon for me, because I got to write some shit. Mm-hmm. Because we did actually get a couple suggestions in our Patreon.
Yeah, you're gonna... I since you've been yelling about me to watch anime, I was just thinking to myself, well, here's your excuse. You're going to talk about Japanese shit. Because I think the only questions I saw were not directly anime related, but were tangentially related. Yeah. But yeah, so that'll happen.
I ain't going to spoil what they are, because, you know.
No, I don't want to say specifically, because then people will be pre-thinking. But the patrons who made them know what they said.
See, now that, like, I was, like, taking a picture of my messy desk,
now you become self-conscious.
Okay. Yep.
Oops. Is that me? Yeah, it was me. I bonked my microphone. See, like I said, I'm a fidgety person. I should really just get the fucking fidget spinner, because that's a lot safer. But, because now I'm holding a set of multi-tool pliers and just flipping them open and closed and stuff. Thank God I don't own... this is one of the reasons why I think I shouldn't ever get a butterfly knife, just because I just start absolutely minded flipping that shit, and I'd probably stab myself. They make trainers for that, though.
They do. I want to get one, because I can do the flip open and flip close trick. I can't do anything else.
Yeah, that's always something I thought was really cool.
Yeah. I've watched videos of people, like, going nuts with their bowling knives. I want to do this, but I also want to keep my fingers.
Yeah, it's like nunchucks. Like, on the one hand, yeah, that's really cool when Bruce Lee does it, but if you try that without training, you're just going to slap yourself in the dick. And that's going to suck.
You're going to hit yourself in the face, and then you're going to hit yourself in the dick, and you're going to give up on those nunchucks immediately. You're like, why do I live for this pain?
But so the point I had before you referenced me to this image, I was going to make was that I think, because we were talking about tabletop originally, I think that we're both, like, being gear-oriented in real life, I think also applies to our fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a very technical, tool-based mindset. Like, just, you know, hey, tools are handy. And some tools are really cool. Like, be they multi-tools or they be sick knives. Like, I've followed somebody on Twitter who just got into, like, custom pocket knives, and, like, some of those are pretty sick. Like, you can get some art and stuff on them, some cool engravings. They also complain that there are unfortunately a lot of, like, old-ass racist terms and symbolism in knives, too, which is not surprising.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, there's something I definitely want to do for my handgun, though. I gotta find the girl's frontline equivalent of her, and I'm gonna get a picture of her, and I'm gonna put her in the fucking grip.
Yes, you're gonna wifey-wise that gun.
Yeah. Because I've seen pictures of people doing that. Apparently, you can change out the... I don't know if I can actually do it for my gun. I had it taken away from me because Lucky was in a bad spot for a while. I'm not gonna get into that. But I gotta see if I can take off the sides and get it replaced. And if I do, yeah, I'm totally putting a waifu picture there. And I'm gonna be like,
if you can customize the grip. Because grips are cool.
Again,
I have small collections of gun porn pictures, some of which involve some sick grip customizations. And also stuff like a Hello Kitty AR.
Uh-huh.
Do you mind revealing to the audience what model of gun you have?
Me, I have a 6 Hour 2022. It's a actually, let me just pull it up here. 6 Hour 2022. Do. This thing's fucking tactical. It got night sights on it.
Neat.
Well, the one I have does. I bought it because I went to a gun show, which they say gun show, but it's literally like aisles upon aisles of people selling guns.
It's a convention for guns.
And it was great. I fucking loved it.
Yeah, they have those occasionally around here. I should take some time out to go sometime just to hang out and see.
Oh, yeah. From the way I see it, like the way it looks, yeah, I can totally just take off that side panel where the grip is and just be all like, bam, I'm gonna put me a fucking waifu right there. Yeah, I have the Nitron full size, which is just man, it's good.
Yeah, so by the way, I just randomly opened up the Girls Frontline wiki because I'm going to type in SP 2022 and see if that's the thing.
Like, I don't know if they have a Girls Frontline equivalent for it because it's I don't know.
I am not seeing one for that particular model. I think the only SIG they have is ironically enough the AR.
Damn it. I don't know, maybe I'll pick just my favorite handgun that is close enough. I don't know.
But I just opened up the front page, and then for some reason there's just a gun who I don't recognize. It's PM06, and I'm like, oh, she's wearing red. That's cool. It's this one. Who is from Rabbit Hunt Plus, which I don't think we did yet, because we just did regular Rabbit Hunt. Oh my god, I have too many tabs. It's scary. Let me kill some of these. Carefully kill some tabs. Because like I said, I need to buy a new microphone. Not a new microphone, a new mouse. M-word.
M-word. Alright, cleaned off my desk now. Alright, okay. It is now cleansed. But, yeah, but, like, speaking of, like, yeah, I love gear, and I like buying gear and collecting gear. I actually have, like, a miniature war myself at times, because I'm like, alright, I have this stuff. But having too much stuff is kind of clutterfying. So I need to, what's the word I see? I need to cut down on my stuff. I have to keep the good stuff. Because there are definitely things where it's like, all right, I want this, but I definitely don't need this. So I should probably get rid of it. And then, I have the internal fucking struggle. But let's see here. Yeah, so, like, because I plan on getting more gun. I specifically plan on buying a shotgun. I even know what shotgun I want. I want the Remington 870. It's a pump-action shotgun made by Remington. It's widely used. It's a very common shotgun, and it's easy to mod. It's easy to use. It's a pump. It comes in, some of them, like the tactical models come with rails on them already. It's like, yeah. I fucking love it. Get me a six sheath for it. Oh, he actually linked this. Oh, who is this girl? She's doing the bikini jacket combination.
Yeah, I'm like, this was just on the front page of the Girls Frontline English Wiki. I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you are, but I love you immediately. That's okay. I won't ever get her because I think she's a fucking drop. God damn it, Girls Frontline.
Let's see here. Operation Rabbit Hunt Plus. Oh, yeah, we just had the regular one. Well, who knows? Maybe next time. We'll see.
Indeedly D.
See what people are talking about. But, actually, I am going to put a hard stop on our conversation about guns, because we're going to talk about something else that involves guns.
Lots. That's good, because we're coming up on, I think, 2 hours, and I think I'm getting hungry for a snack. So we should talk about the thing we really wanted to talk about.
Yeah. So,
Listen, hey, Lucky, listen, just listen to me for a sec.
I'm listening.
Can't hold me down. I think that spoiled it, but yeah. So you were actually watching the stream.
Yeah,
I was
watching
busy
the stream,
following
actually.
other streams because at the time, Fantasy Flight was announcing Clone Wars for Star Wars Legion, which only I cared about, but it was super exciting.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but yeah. So PAX East was happening, and Gearbox Software had a fucking hour-long panel, a stream. Motherfucking Randy Pitchford came out, the CEO of Gearbox, and this guy's a huge fucking dork on stage. Like,
I saw some clips, and I heard some people critiquing his magic tricks.
Yeah, I know, but that's the great thing. It's like he was a fucking guy who was all like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do a magic trick on stage because I fucking love magic." He's like, I can't hate this man, which is kind of hilarious because Randy Pitchford is embroiled in like so many like legal troubles like right now. I think it was only like December of last year that he literally got a he literally got like slammed by his like a financial advisor for like spending company money on like parties with underage girls, having a USB drive with like underage girls on it, and all that stuff. But Randy Pitchford's like taking that shit in his stride. He actually went on a podcast and said, "Oh yeah, no, there was totally porn on that USB. It was just of an 18-year-old girl who was like doing a fucking magic trick, and he was like, I have to figure this out." So it's like, dude, that's kind of hardcore. You just went on like on the air and said like, no, yeah, just said that shit. But he's like on stage, just talking, like swearing, and like engaging the audience. Like he's dropping jokes, and like I remember this one time he's like, "All right, the stream's over, we're done, everyone go home." Everyone's just kind of silent, like, and he's just responds with, "You're all gonna kill me." Everyone's laughed at that. So like I really enjoy like his stage presence. Like even David Eddings was all like, "No, he's kind of a fun dude, but he's also kind of a liar and a con man." So it's like, can't win them all. But I really enjoyed the stream. Like they started off with like a bit of Borderlands 3 news. They talked about like some third party developers that they were working with, and they announced a couple games like Risk of Rain 2, which is gonna be actually 3D. Actually, it was actually pretty crazy. I don't know how I feel.
I think it's in the beta mob already, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's early access.
Yeah, it's early access. They had. What other games did they talk about? They talked about some other games. Unfortunately, I can't think of them off the top of my head. I didn't write them down. But as I said, like, they put a little bit of effort. They talked about how they're re-releasing like Borderlands, like the Handsome editions, which are like super like ultra defined, like 4K resolution.
It's specifically instead of Handsome Jack HD Collection, it's Ultra HD UHD.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which personally, I'm not gonna bother with that just because. I
played the shit out of.
I already have the Handsome Jack collection, the so-called HD remaster already. So, like, I don't think I'm ready for Ultra HD yet, guys. I don't think it matters to me.
Nah,
not yet. Like, I don't think I have the setup to appreciate that yet.
Same, but like, they basically told like how like they're bringing a bunch of like new changes to fucking like the original Borderlands, like how they're like doing like adding.
Yeah, they're doing a Game of the Year re-release, I think, right?
Yeah, something like that. And they're like actually like they added like the mini map, added like 4-player split screen support,
which is really cool because because it wasn't in Handsome Jack. It's been a hot second since I played the original Borderlands.
Yeah, so like that. And as I said, Randy Pitchford's like going on this whole time, like bringing on staff members, talking about things. Pulling up people from the audience whose birthday it was, and how they like gave them like, and did this whole demo of a new tabletop game, Tiny Tina's Robot Tea Party, which seems fun. I'm kind of interested. Looks entertaining. I'd buy it. Play it on game night. Apparently, Randy Pitchford actually has a tabletop game night where he and his friends go over and play like games and shit.
I figured with the original Tiny Tina DLC and 2 that like. You don't make those jokes without, like, a lot of more infinite knowledge of the hobby.
So, but, like, of course, the motherfucking highlight of the night was, of course, at the end, where they actually showed the world premiere trailer of motherfucking Borderlands 3. Had a teaser, like, only, like, a few days before
they pre-teased it a little bit, and it was like, Yep,
it was basically just this mask, the Borderlands mask, made up of a fucking bunch of sculptures that were like teasing a bunch of stuff. And here's the crazy thing. Basically, where the teaser ends is where the world premiere trailer begins. Like, it goes from that mask, and it turns into a regular mask, and it just goes into it. And oh my god. Like, have I told you, like, how Borderlands, like, the Borderlands 2 trailer was amazing? And, like, the Borderlands...
They do lots of really good trailers. They pick lots of really good music. As evidence from my earlier joke.
They know, like, what the audience is wanting. And they, like, are not afraid to say it in the trailer.
Yeah.
But we got like there are like an analysis videos going like full bore right now as people like.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing, like, well, and they even have a slide dedicated. They're like, oh yeah, one more thing. Like at the end, they're like, by the way, in case you thought we forgot, we didn't. Over 1 billion guns with legs
it's
too.
Just literally the screen is just literally raining guns.
Yeah, of various rarities. But in their like big finish, they like smash cut to like a shitload of screenshots. So there's like 1 million guns on screen. But that's always a thing they kind of do, like because that's a really strong strength of Borderlands. Like it's actually got a lot of these really interesting mechanics and stuff, and like you know the guns are actually very different from the procedural generation, and like you may think looter shooters are way passe, but like no, trust me, listen to me, dudes. Listen to me, my dudes. I played a lot of Destiny 1 and 2. It's not the same thing. Like, that's a much tighter generation for guns, and it's mostly just like, okay, the gun might have elemental damage. It's one of, like, a couple of core class types. You'd only carry a couple, and then some of the higher-end ones have, like, very specific perks. And 2 is a little bit better about the perks than 1 was, but yeah, it's like, and this... It's a lot more grounded. It's like, in this one you can buy the extra special, the heavy barrel, which means that damage number gets slightly higher and the bullets go slightly farther. Now, motherfucking Borderlands is like, this is an acid face eater gun. It is a shotgun that shoots like 50 bajillion homing shotgun pellets, which home in on the face for extra critical damage and a high rate of melting. And that's just a random ass gun.
I was like, all right, here's this gun. Like, fucking just the guns in general. Like, all right, here's a Terrador gun. When you run out of bullets...
Yeah, that's something that, like, 2 really stepped up, was like, oh yeah, we're gonna actually make the brands really distinct now.
Yeah, it's all like, torque guns, all explosions. All the fucking time.
Yeah, they're all gyrojets.
Fucking Terragorms, they're kind of middle of the road, but guess what? If you reload, you don't actually reload the gun. You just throw the gun.
Teddy Orr is such a budget gun maker. They're like, and just throw your fucking gun away.
We'll Digistruct you another one with a full clip. Booyah. Or magazine, excuse me. Jacobs, low ammo, lots of damage. Also, usually pull the trigger as fast as you can.
Yeah, and they also, like, aesthetically, they have, like, lots of wood and stuff. Vladov is maximum rate of firepower.
Mm-hmm.
For good communist suppression of capitalist scum. Never mind, we are mega corporation.
And then you just get into like the weird effects of some one of my favorite guns in Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is a gun that is just this angry woman who's just screaming when you shoot or kill shit. And I'm like, oh my god. Just this kind of, I can't remember what kind of gun it was.
In 2, there's Moxie's Good Touch and Moxie's Bad Touch, which vibrate your controller when you have them out.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also really, really effective
it's just
guns.
Like that, like they're good guns, but oh my god, it's like
it's funny. I was like half a second away from starting a new Borderlands 2 run with my Necromancer character because my internet was out, and I was like, all right, what can I play that doesn't require the PlayStation Network right now? And I'm like, I got Borderlands. I can shoot some guns. I don't need internet for that. But then my internet came back on. But I will almost assuredly before 3 comes out, especially if they're going to like re-release 1 on like PS4 available, which I'm pretty sure is what they're doing with the Game of the Year, right? They're like re-releasing it on all modern consoles. I will be sure to buy that and play that and like go through the whole thing again, because I really fucking love those games. They're really good. So we see a lot of stuff in the trailer. We see our antagonists, who look suitably space punk as always.
Yeah, it's a duo.
One of them's
this
got a
time.
giant robot arm. They apparently kicked Lilith's ass. That's too bad. They're gonna steal something important.
I think they steal like the.
They're after the Volt
Looks
Key,
like-
obviously. Yeah,
Yeah.
or and Volt Key. We get to see long hair Maya, which is my aesthetic.
Tiny Tina has grown up a bit. It definitely seems like this is a few years into the future. Past.
Mhm.
Actually, I should
Brick
say
has a mustache now.
No, he doesn't. That was actually just for the.
Oh, that was just for the sax solo.
Yeah, there's a moment where they just say epic Brick sax solo, and
Well, yeah,
it's
because
just
the song
Brick,
they
but
used has a sax solo in it, so it's just like,
let's put
well,
Brick in
fuck
there.
it. What do we do with that? No, Brick must do a saxophone solo, and he just and he has a mustache in it.
Yeah, but he has the stash, and it was great. Who knows? Honestly, I guarantee you that might be a fucking head, though.
Yeah, or there'll be a dumb quest, which is like, Brick will have a mustache, and it'll be like, should Brick shave his mustache? Yes or no? Punch for yes, run away for no.
Punch off his mustache. That sounds like a Brick thing.
That's absolutely sounds like a quest they do in Borderlands, which is that's another thing I love about Borderlands. It's not real serious. Like, especially I think in 2, they started to hit some more serious themes. Which reminds me, I need to finally play my copy of Tales.
Yeah, that's something else I was gonna mention.
Yeah, now that's in my list. I'll do the whole thing. I'll do the whole razzle dazzle. Like we talked about when they announced that Dreadwolf is coming out for Dragon Age, 4 is coming. I'm like, well, there's 300-hour games I have to play again.
Yep. I would perfect my Jag and Keep. But yeah, like I'm thinking just about Borderlands 2. I'm just thinking about like literally there's a quest where you run up a guy and he's like, hey, shoot me in the face. His name is Shooty McShooty Face. And he just says thank you and dies. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, there's all kinds of... Borderlands has dumb quests. I think at some point you have to, like, search for shit in toilets. Not literal shit, by the way. Guns and stuff. Gun parts.
Like, find a key.
Find a key or something, yeah. So Borderlands is a very irreverent series. Like, they've touched on some heavier themes at times, but fundamentally, they got their start as a game by just being like, we're that one really fucked up metal shooter with all these weird-ass guns and fun powers. And I'm like, they built a brand identity and they've stuck to it so far, and it's really good. And like, but it's weird. They're not like they're not like a weirdly macho game or anything or anything. Like they managed to be kind of like edgy and fast and loose without necessarily being like offensive or shock jockey, right? Like,
yeah.
They're irreverent, but they're irreverent about shit that people can be irreverent about.
Yeah.
Like Handsome Jack and his fucking, butt stallion. I got a horse made of diamonds. You assholes don't have that? Oh, that's too bad. This horse is really amazing. By the way, I killed all your friends. Like, god damn. I understand totally why they made it the quote-unquote Handsome Jack collection, because he was such a, like... When you're making a sequel, right, you want to do something new so people are interested. Like, people don't necessarily want to buy the same old again. You could just release DLCs. You could update a game for a while. So, I think the shift from 1 to 2, like, 1 made its mark in Claptrap as kind of an iconic character. As, like, being really annoying and dreadful. And, they had some memorable personalities. They formed the focus of some of the DLCs. And the Atlas DLC was really good, too, for, like, NPCs. That's, where Athena first showed up.
Yeah, I think
General
it got
Knox.
super developed. Yeah, I think it got super developed.
Yeah, they definitely used Athena again. And I played Athena a decent chunk in the pre-sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But also the Baroness. Who's coming back? I think fucking everybody who's not dead is coming back, is what I got in this trailer.
Oh, yeah, no, like... apparently it looks like Mordecai, Brick, and Tina are hanging out. Lilith is off doing something. You see Maya. I don't think you don't see Craig or like other the DLCs, and I don't think you see any of the other characters. I can't remember.
Not yet, but I expect that they would show up.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think. Like, it's an
Like,
interesting thing
important
about
'cause
Borderlands 2, right? Like I feel like the player characters were a little bit less.
Oh,
iconic.
Zero. I did see Zero because Zero's hanging out with Reese.
Okay, so
From-
Zero's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I feel like that was a thing that 2 wasn't as good at, was despite the fact that they had their own voices and they had much more personality as player characters, I feel like a lot of the 2 band wasn't necessarily as super distinct.
Yeah.
Like Maya obviously as a siren kind of had her own thing going on. Zero had his weird haiku stuff. I'm a little shocked we didn't necessarily I don't think we saw Gage.
Yeah.
I will admit this. It's a little hard with the Borderlands art style to tell people apart just by the facial region. They got a little bit of the same face problem. Like some dudes are like built differently, but especially I think like female faces. I'm like who is the character with Maya who gives her a fist bump? I'm like I literally can't recognize this character because you're wearing a hood
She
and
might
you
be
have
a new character. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's like this is probably a new person, but it might be a returning character. I can't tell because you're wearing a hood, so I can like only see your face. And lots of people have newer outfits now. Like I think Lilith is the most unchanged character because like even Brick looks like he's got some like different accessories and definition and stuff.
Yeah,
and also possibly a mustache. We don't know. But like you see a lot of your characters, and that's even a tagline. It's like, all your friends are here to save the worlds.
And it just does like a scroll of like all the different characters. Like,
Tiny Tina doing a sick dance, Maya doing the hood thing. You see lots of old characters. You only see Moxie from behind.
But you see Marcus and Tannis.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that's, like I said, I'm pretty sure dressed in like a corset with the hair done up, that's got to be Mox from behind.
That is
hanging
totally
out with
Mox.
Marcus. I'm like, yeah. When are they gonna do playable Moxie, do you think?
I don't know. I feel like playable Moxie is kind of the same. Will be same range as like a fucking playable Marcus or something, or playable Tannis.
Yeah, that might be a little weird. Like I feel like they wanna keep their characters who have like an iconic voice as non-playable, but at the same time, you had a playable Claptrap. So it's like it's weird. You never know with them. And we only know 4 characters so far.
Yeah. So, actually, these were actually spoiled a little bit earlier.
Yeah, they were for sure in the Mask of Mayhem teaser. Like you could see their designs. And there were actually some anonymous source leaks to various people about 3 speculation over the years that were accurate. It turns out.
Yeah. So they were odd. The big guy who looks like he might be actually a mech.
Yeah, he's got a robot face. It's either a helmet or he's literally a robot.
I said, and this actually has a precedent, but he's known as the Beastmaster. You have this old guy in a sweet jacket and looks like a scouter. He's known as the Operative. He
has some kind of holographic decoy thing.
Yeah. What was the fucking third one called? I can't remember.
I have heard mech late. I think it's a girl, right? Is the soldier with the mech?
Yeah.
So I've heard her referred to as a soldier character.
Yeah, I think it's like Psycho. Let me
I know, but her power is that she can summon a giant robot, which also somebody can ride on top of.
Yeah,
and that I think looks like a sick power.
Yeah, and the fucking 4th character that wasn't fucking revealed is the fucking Siren character, who looks like she can go fucking Shiva arm.
Yeah, they show her activating her power, and she does the fucking multiple arms. And so she's clearly like the original Brick, a melee-focused punch character.
Yeah, and she got abs, let me tell you.
Oh, boy, howdy does she.
Yeah, so she is probably in your fucking face. She's like, no, I'm not going to use these powers away. No, I'm going to get in your face.
Supposedly all the different Sirens are unique, so.
Yeah. But I like how they keep bringing back the fucking,
they keep bringing back the aesthetics and kind of the concepts. Like, you could be for damn sure that Punch Siren's going to have a tree, which is just do weird elemental shit with your punches.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I found out. The soldier character is the Bot Jock.
Nice.
That's her name. I mean, her name is Mose with Iron Bear Mech. The operative name is Zane with gadgets, and the Beastmaster is Flack with pets.
So they're really giving you lots of fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Borderlands is really good about that. So I don't know. I feel like I've always been a Siren main. That's always been my thing.
Yeah, same. I usually do like the Siren first, and then usually like whoever.
Well, because here's the thing. Here's the thing I learned about Sirens that started in the first one. Is they Healy bop themselves, which is great. That's so as a mostly solo player, and I did a little bit of co-op, and when I did that, I definitely play other stuff. But like as a mostly solo player, the ability to regen while doing your power is invaluable because goddamn does it suck when you have to like randomly fight for your life and can't win, and you got to reset.
The character does look like Axum says Loaderbot perhaps, which is a Tails thing. Because Loaderbot is fucking best, but Loaderbot actually did have something similar, but you know he revealed himself later. Now he's having hopefully a romantic time with fucking Gortys. I don't know why he'd be specifically a Beastmaster with pets and shit.
I mean he could be an loader of some kind. This guy because he's got like the one eye.
Yeah,
so he could easily be a Hyperion type bot, but.
Let me see here. Loader. Let me see. Actually, let me see if I can find his disguise and from Tails.
But yeah, so like I mostly play Sirens because they have the ability to self-heal and they have lots of fun elemental stuff. But in 2, my secondary class who I mentioned earlier was Necromancer because that was fucking fun. And Anarchy is a lot of shenanigansery. And also I love that Gage had like she has a easy modo cruise control tree, and she has a hard mode, this stuff's really complex tree, and I love that about her. So that giant robot chick looks pretty baller. Especially if you get a little bit of customization in that.
Let me see here.
Oh, another character we should mention that showed back up. They showed Ellie. Still doing tech stuff. Because unfortunately, in case you didn't know, Scooter is no longer with us.
Nope. As I said, this is one of those things that's like they showed me. It's like, nope. See, this is the thing I was wondering about because Tales from the Borderland is technically a Telltale game. You know, they had like fucking Gearbox support and all that crazy stuff and made it.
And Gearbox is actually pretty good about working with third-party partners. They because Pre-Sequel's made by their team in Australia, like 2K Australia mostly, and they worked with 2 different third-party studios to make Ultra HD and Game of the Year edition. Because their primary Gearbox team has been working on 3.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things. Yeah, they said they've been working on it for like 5 years, but it was just one of those things. Like Tales from the Borderland technically isn't, you know, one of from their like even from one of their like subsidiary studios. Is this going to be canon? And like, no, they like show in the teaser Vaughn, who's a fucking Telltale character. Fucking Randy Pitchford actually said no, Scooter's not in the game. And during the trailer, you actually see Reese, with him, who actually does have a mustache now, like standing like all corporate and shit with like Zero standing next to him, and it's like, whoa. So I'm like, yeah, no, this is actually happening, which is crazy because Omega, do you know what happened? Do you know actually what happens in fucking Tales from the Borderland?
Not exactly. I've seen some bits, but like it was always something that was like eventually I'll play it and I'm like, hey, I got the copy, I got all the episodes on a disc. Rather than
yeah, no, so, like honestly, like Tales from the Borderland is like honestly like my favorite board game.
I know you appreciate Borderlands. I know Ron appreciates Borderlands. Back before he became a complete PC Master Race guy, we actually played a little bit back and forth.
Yeah.
So like I've heard from both of you and from other people that Tales is really good. So that's been on my list, and I will, like I said, I'll definitely hit it up eventually. When did they say they're going to give us more news on 3? Was that like April 24th?
I thought it was like April 3rd, actually. They said,
3rd?
like, see you April 3rd.
See you sometime. It's sometime in April. I'm like, what date? Well, we're always like, what the fuck is time?
Oh, yeah, Qua confirms April 3rd on their website.
Okay, so we will learn more then, and maybe if they give us an actual timetable for this. So we talked about the trailer. There's lots of stuff in the trailer. Just go watch it, like I did, lots and lots of times.
I've watched it lots of times, too.
It's been I think the last trailer I watched repetitively like that was Cyberpunk. So, depending on when those games are both announced to come out, that might be my... Other than... So Kingdom Hearts 3 already came out. That was a big deal. Still Link already came out. That's not necessarily a big deal, but we're both super interested in that. We know... Oh, I bet it was Persona was like the 24th or something, because those fuckers are still holding out on us.
Oh, yeah. Because,
but now that we know that Persona 5 Royal is a thing, that's a big anticipated. But that's also still very much up in the air as to what the fuck's actually going on there.
You see, Lucky's having the struggle right now, because there's a lot of games he wants to buy, and he just, like, nope, don't touch it. Don't touch it. Don't touch the money.
I need to think about stuff. But, like, other than, depending on when they say Cyberpunk's going to come out, I think 3 is like that's the big thing that I want to get into if it's this year. Which if they're at this point, it's probably this year.
Yeah,
because a year is a long time, guys.
like, it is. Like, oh god, like right now, like I actually watched like Game Grumps.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing you want to talk about. You want to talk about Sekiro.
Yeah. Cause you know, last week I was talking about how depending on how much you watch of a Let's Play generally will influence how much you want to buy it. I watched only 30 minutes of Game Grumps playing Sekiro, and I'm like, I really fucking want this game. And I stopped watching like right there because I didn't want to like get spoiled anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still having this feeling of like, God, I really want to play this game.
That's interesting.
Because
I watched the Team 4-Star Boys because they have a long history of drinking streams with From Software games. I don't know if I'm going to keep at it, but I tried to go back a little to their first playthrough with Dark Souls 3, which is still pretty funny. Though it's still a little harsh because they have a lot of time with the first gatekeeper boss. Not that I would throw stones, because like I don't play Dark Souls for a reason. Like Ron is the Dark Souls guy. He bought me a copy of Demon Souls again after I'd already bought my own copy and given it back. I was like, no, bro, I really want you to give Demon Souls a serious try, and I have. And I don't think I like the style of some of those earlier games. They're a little too slow and grueling for me. I still don't have the time or stress levels to play it, but I prefer Bloodborne. Like, Bloodborne's a thing that I actually feel like I can wrap my mind around. And if we ever get consolidated...
Like, I'm never going to say, like, I am not good at these games. I mean, I will say I am not good at these games. I still enjoy these games.
Yeah, that's fair. And some of them can be... I think that's why I like Bloodborne, because I like... That I feel like I can... That's much more aggressive and fast-paced. I feel like I can wrap my mind around working on that, rather than some of the more slow plotting experiences I had with these games. Also, like, the first death I had in Demon Souls was I was like, what's this sparkly thing? Oh, that's apparently a danger sign that's a cliff you can fall off. I'm a little upset now. Like, if we ever get consolidated, that might be a thing we do, is play Bloodborne, just because...
Oh, no, that's the reason why I actually stopped playing Bloodborne, is because I didn't want to get too far.
Because that's a really good Let's Play format to, like, swap off with people.
Yeah. Because...
You will play those games and you will get your tension ratcheted up really high. It's why I can't play Alien Isolation. I love that game a lot. I can't play it. I can't sitting by myself play that game. The tension gets too high and it's just like I need a minute to breathe. I need some space. But the game doesn't give you that because it's designed not to. So that's why a 2-man Let's Play I think would work for some of that stuff, where I can physically be like, okay, Lucky, take this controller from me for a second.
Lucky, take the wheel. And I start screaming, ah!
And just, relax, and then if you freak out too much, you're just like, I can't even. You can hand it back to me, and we can go back and forth.
You see, because that's how I want to do. Like, that's the reason why I can't play Resident Evil 7 either, because I tell people, for a game to be properly scary for me, it has to give me the right amount of agency, and still like completely fuck me.
Yeah, I think 7's a good one for that.
Yeah.
I've watched people play that, and like. That's one of those things where even having watched people play basically all of it, that's a thing I would still be okay with playing myself, because that's kind of like it's a classic survival horror type game. So it's like how you handle stuff is not necessarily how people who play it are going to handle it.
Yeah, because like as I like to talk about, when you're given still a bunch of fucking tools and this thing can still wreck your shit, that's the scary bit. Like, in games like, I've said this like probably several times on air, but I'm gonna say it again. In games like Amnesia, where your only recourse is to literally run the fuck away and hide, I'm all like, no, let me grab a fucking chair and hit it.
I have a fucking lamp. Can't I set it on fire? That's a thing I think game designers forget about. Humans love fire. Fire's great. Everybody has their tiny pyromaniac phase, where the first time you stare into the fire and feel that beautiful warmth inside, and you're like, oh shit, fire is cool. Like,
but then there's the other aspect of that agency, where it's your Dead Space. Like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Dead Space, but it's not survival horror; it's action horror. Where it's like, check out my guns.
Especially in the later games.
Yeah,
they became more actionized as time went on.
Yeah, like Dead Space 2 is still one of my favorite action horror games, like right up there with like Resident Evil 4. I was like, as long as you're like a little bit like ammo minded, you know how to shoot for them weak spots, you're gonna have a solid freaking time. But so like things will get tense, but nothing will get terrifying. And then you have in the middle where Alien Isolation and Resident Evil say, it's like, yes, we're gonna have all these tools to get the job done.
And heck, like Alien Isolation is a game of nothing but finding more space tools.
Yeah,
that's literally the mechanics. Is just, oh, you need to go new places and do new things. You just find a new fucking space tool. Here's a space torch. Here's a space hammer, space screwdriver, space knife, space gun. Yeah. Space flamethrower.
But guess what? If that alien sees you, you're still getting your fucking
Yeah, no, you can. I think with the because like I said, I never got very far. I got to the first couple times you actually run into the xenomorph, and then I'm just like, there's way too much tension on me here. I can't. The way the game is paced is you can't. There's no tension break for you naturally if you keep fucking up. The only way to break tension is to succeed. Which is a problem because that means as your tension keeps ratcheting up through multiple tries, like, you can't just, like, I mean, you can pause the game, but there's not, like, a very good natural way to, like, take a breather and be like, okay, I need to relax, I need to plan, and do this and that other thing, and oh my god, it's right here, it already in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the game deliberately doesn't give you that opportunity. The tension breaks are when the game decides there's a tension break, and that's, like I said, that's not good for failure, so that's a game that I would love to play. And so if that would be another thing we could play together and be like, okay, I just, spent 10 minutes running from the xenomorph and died screaming in a corner. You take this from me for a minute.
Yeah, so like patrons, and those who are supporting us, like, yeah, like there's actually a list of games we're gonna like play, like.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of content we want to work on.
Like I'm gonna make Omega play like all the Legend of Zelda games, and I'm gonna be his fucking navigation. Fucking also Uncharted series.
Yeah, that's another one that's just like, and that's not necessarily like a scary thing, but that's just like, you know what the fuck you're doing, and so that makes a good Let's Play if you can cycle to people who, because that's a complaint I even have sometimes is when Let's Players are like I've talked about this before with like Markiplier. Game Grumps are also bad about this sometimes, where Aaron has like a philosophical opposition to directions in games. Which I find weird, but I guess that's just because he's really fixated on that era where you either had to learn by doing or had to look in the manual.
Mm.
So, like, I don't know. But like I said, he's got a weird philosophical opposition to in-game tutorials and tooltips and stuff. But that means that they've done some very dumb things in, like, Wind Waker, where they don't look, where Aaron literally doesn't look at the button prompts for like 10 minutes.
It's like, I refuse.
But yeah, so that's better to have that ability to either have somebody there to guide you or just somebody who knows what they're doing already.
Yeah, but like, back on topic,
I know.
Like I said, if there's any games that you want to like make me play and be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, you'd be like, I'd be down. But like back on the subject of Sekiro, it's all like, yeah, it's like it's from software, so it's like grueling combat. You're gonna fail. It has like a dying mechanic, but they've added like stealth. They've added jumping. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, there's a shitload of verticality in this game. Like I said, I watched like the TFS guys play a couple hours, and like they got the grappling hook, and I'm like I said, I've played Demon Souls, I've played Bloodborne, I've seen people play Dark Souls games. I'm like, oh my god, that's a real boy jump.
Mm-hmm. It's not just ladders and fucking stairs and falling off cliffs, and you're dead.
I don't know if it was in the original one, but I know in Dark Souls 2 you could do a running jump, which was very awkward. You had to like click in both sticks or something dumb.
X actually brings up a good point. It says it's more like a Ninja Gaiden game. I played the shit out of some Ninja Gaiden Sigma on the PS.
I think people have said that it's a stealth Tenchu game.
Yeah, I've never played any Tenchu games, so let's see here. Yeah,
but I could see Ninja Gaiden or something.
Yeah, but I have played Ninja Gaiden. I've played a couple of Ninja Gaidens because I love Team Ninja. I think they're great because they're the guys who make Dead or Alive. But Poke Emblem is in our Patreon chat saying that they will have to decrease the payment for a couple dollars. Just letting us know in advance. And Poke Emblem, that's all right. You do you.
When you hear this in the future, yes, we acknowledge that. That's okay. That's perfect. Okay.
Motherfucking Quad literally just opened up Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. It's like, oh, you temptation, motherfucker.
Somebody, I won't name their name just in case they don't want to be mentioned, but somebody before the month rolled over they canceled their payment and they said that my financial situation changed in the exit survey, and I'm like, okay. You know, that means that
fine.
means technically I have to do work to pull your name off the credits or whatever. But hey, you do you. If you can't, where we hope you stick with us in some level and just like, you know, do whatever. But hey, that's on you. Like, you support us at whatever level possible. And not to harp too much on the point, but as we have mentioned, like, technically, if enough people support us, we don't need you to support us a lot. Like,
Yeah.
if every one of our YouTube subs gave us $1, not that you have to, but this is a thing to think about in this current day of creators. If you actually like a creator, you should consider supporting them somehow, because, like, otherwise you're leaving us at the whims of, like, corporate and ad rev, which is kind of rough sometimes. So, like, we have almost 1,800 subs. If literally all of them gave us $1, we'd be, you know, making a couple $1,000 a month, which would be, you know,
at the very least, would be enough for us to consolidate.
That would definitely be enough for a consolidate. That's also probably a pretty comfortable living wage per month, right? You know, about 1,000. So that's like, you know, $12,000 a year, thereabouts. We'd live okay on that.
Oh yeah, but
so just like we don't want to pressure you. We just mentioned, you know, do what's fiscally responsible for you.
Yeah,
and don't feel like you have to give us lots of money. The perks are there to incentivize people and to reward them for supporting us at certain levels. You get to do cool stuff, like hang out with us in our patron chat right now. And, you know, several of our patrons have actually interacted with us live. And, you know, you get to see stuff early sometimes. But I think there's a basic amount of involvement. You know, you can suggest topics for Lucky Live. You can ask us questions for our daily stuff. You can listen to all our audio downloads. Any level of support is super cool. We appreciate it. Also, especially since, like I said, YouTube, I think, has been fucking with their algorithm, and our view counts are really weird and all over the place. Just the fact that if you are right here listening to this, that's a support of its own, and I appreciate you taking that time. Mm-hmm. You know, whether you're listening to it early in an audio format on Patreon, or you're watching this on YouTube in a couple days. Well, technically, I can say tomorrow because it's after midnight here. It's just rolled over.
Sorry.
It's fine. It just means that the video's not going to be out for a while because it's got to render.
I think I'm gonna make curry for dinner.
But like, or if it's like 6 months from now and you're going through the backlog, which I know some people do, which is, you know, hey, I thumbs up on that. I do that all the time. I go through backlogs. Like, if I haven't found something new to like watch on Netflix, though they've announced that a new season of Stranger Things is coming out in July, so I probably have to crunch both of those again. Not that that's a bad thing. I fucking love Stranger Things. That's a super cool show. And they make a lot of D&D references and a lot of old 80s references. But yeah, we were talking about Let's Plays and like how that's a really good thing that people are like supporting us to work towards. To like, there's a lot of content we will do when we get there.
Oh yeah,
we could probably do some Metal Gear Solid stuff because we both love that a lot.
Oh yeah. Maybe I can actually complete Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, I was just about to say, hey, maybe we can actually finish 5. Because neither of us have done that just because... Listen, not that 5 is bad. 5 is an amazing game. It's not a finished game. And there's a lot of make work in it. A lot of make work.
Mm-hmm. So, but as I said, so like, I'm having this struggle right now with my finances. Because I said, I'm not pulling in a lot of money. Because I don't have a job. And in FGO, CCC is literally around the corner. And so, like, it is looming. There are servants I want, 3 specifically, but also it is spring. The games are coming out. Like, Days Gone's going to be coming out soon. Anthem and Division 2 have already came and gone. And while I hear like the Division 2 is actually really fucking solid, Anthem is kind of been swept under the rug.
Anthem's a little bit of a beta-y problem, it seems like.
Yep.
It's the kind of game you're going to want to pick up a year from now.
Mm-hmm. But like other games, like just like are like under the radar, like Caligula, the Caligula effect is out. Fucking Tales of Cold Steel is coming out on the PS4.
That means I gotta go. Hold on, I have to go add something to my Amazon wishlist real quick. If Caligula.
PS4, it's just like, oh my god, like all these games I want are coming out, and now I just have to add fucking Sekiro Shadows Die Twice of games that I really want to play. I'm like, no. It's like, Quar has in the chat said Anthem is really mediocre. And, and like, here's the thing: I'm okay with mediocre games as long as I like it feels like scratches an itch I have. But like the scratch that like Anthem with it is gonna usually be like mechs firing lots of beam weapons and stuff. I'm like, that's something I don't like need scratch like right now. I can live
and also
without it.
I don't actually know how much it's actually like. I've heard from some people that like some of the feedback on actually shooting at stuff isn't as impressive as it could be.
So like right now, like so like for like my third person shooting thing stuff, scratch, that's Warframe. That's fucking free to play. Eternal beta. Like they're literally celebrating like their 6th year right now. It's like, yeah, it's still buggy. Yeah, it's still weird, and some things aren't balanced, but guess what? I have fucking fun with it because I don't actually have to pay a fucking dime for it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, there's lots of games.
So,
when I needed a shooter for so long, I played Blacklight Retribution because it's a free to play game, and it doesn't even require PS Plus because it's literally multiplayer only, and it's a free download. So, like, obviously, you want a maximum audience, and just I'll shoot some fools in that. It's got kind of a shitty pay-to-play mechanism if you want more advanced guns, but because you got to grind a lot. But if I just want to, like, if I'm in a place where, like, I couldn't buy PS Plus or something, or I just want to go shoot some stuff, I would play that. It's free. You know, or another stuff I do a lot is I pop open my backlog and I like, what do I got left over? What do I got lying around? What's a game I could experience again?
What I like to do is I like to go back into old games to get trophies.
That's fair. I should probably do that more when I actually go back and play an older game and be like, oh, you know, what's a trophy I could do?
Because that's what I do. That's how I get invested. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get some fucking trophies because those are now goals. Now I have a reason to be playing that game other than like story and whatnot. Like again, like I'm currently remember that on my PS3 version of Okami, I am literally one trophy away from platinum, and that's because I have to do the fishing, which is kind of a pain.
You have to fish a lot.
Yeah.
There's another game I have to scratch off the list. I can't say that I played that you didn't, Okami. I love that fucking game.
That's a great game. I love that game. Bless Clover Studios, who turned into Platinum Games. Platinum Games, hey, serious question. Metal Gear Rising 2 win?
Yeah, that's a very good thing. Can they even would Konami even let them do that?
I don't know.
Because the story of the original Rising was that it was originally going to be an in-house game that was going to be a prequel to 4. It was going to explain what the fuck Raiden was doing between 2 and 4. But they couldn't quite get, like, Kojima and his team couldn't quite get what he wanted out of the game. So it was gonna be canceled, basically. But then he was approached by some guys with Platinum who had some ideas and were like, and it turned into a relationship where, like, they took over Rising and made it Revengeance as it is now, and, like, turned out the super cool mechanics for cutting stuff and other stuff. And, like,
honestly, I don't know what Konami's doing with the fucking Metal Gear fucking,
what happened with, Survive? It came out and nobody liked it, and I guess it just died immediately?
Yep.
It was a dumb idea, Konami. You failed to understand the market correctly. I mean, it wasn't... Okay, I should take that back. It wasn't necessarily a dumb idea, because the engine for 5 that you own is fucking amazing. It's a really great engine that Kojima and his team worked their butts off to make for that game.
And, like, honestly, you can't say that there's no precedence for those kind of games, because there's a fucking Yakuza zombie game.
Yeah, and Metal Gear has had weird spin-offs of dubious canonicity before using weird systems. The Metal Gear Acid games, which are card games.
I fucking love those games. Those are actually really fun.
But I think it was just so blatantly after they had a bad breakup with Kojima, right? And it was such a dumb to the Western audience, the wider Western audience. It was such a dumb, obvious cash grab.
Yeah, it's basically like parallel universe instead. I'm just like, oh,
we're gonna put it in a parallel universe, and now there's weird zombies because we have zombie mechanics because Kojima's weird. But
can I just play nuclear deterrence at all of them?
And also, they made it really obvious that it was going to be a microtransaction-y crash cab because it was like, you're going to have to survive and stuff. And like, oh, so you're going to make me want to spend money online, right? Obviously.
Actually, I wonder what Platinum's working on right now. I'm curious.
Bayonetta 3, probably? Because that's a thing, I'm pretty sure. That's only going to be on the Switch, I think, which hurts me deeply.
Yeah, I know they're working on that, but let's see here.
Some studios can only work on one game at a time.
Let's see here. Oh yeah, let's see here. Oh, wait. Let's see, they're working on Bayonetta 3. They're working on a game called Lost Order, but that's mobile games. World of Demons. They were working on a Grand Blue Fantasy game, but they are no longer.
There was another, I think in one of those Nintendo showcases, didn't they announce another Platinum game that was going to be by the guy from Nier? Or something?
Yeah, actually that was right. What the fuck was that called?
I don't know, but it's
because it was
probably
the one
going to
with
be
the
really
chains
cool and also crush my soul a little bit. But it'll be really
Chain,
cool.
That's what it was called. Astral Chain, that's what it was called. And now they're also working on something called Babylon's Fall, which is supposed to... Yeah, Astral Chain...
Babylon's Fall. I think we saw that.
I smell food.
Something. That's not good. Don't talk about food, dude. I'm, really hungry. I'm gonna, immediately... Well, we're gonna have to wrap up pretty soon, too, anyway, because we're at, 2 hours and 45.
That's just a teaser trailer. That gives me nothing.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Anyway,
we saw some
there's
for Babylon's Fall, but...
They got stuff. They're working on stuff. Scalebound was canceled. That made me sad.
Hi.
Looked like Devil May Cry meets Dragons.
Yep.
That's another game I really want to play right now, too. I just don't have the excessive burn to play it. Devil May Cry 5. Because I can wait on Devil May Cry. I don't know why. I really like Devil May Cry. It's really solid. I've always loved it.
I never played him. I'd probably like him because I've played Bayonetta, and I really fucking love that game, and I am just a little teed off that Nintendo managed to buy out Platinum Soul and only get Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U of all fucking useless ass platforms. But hey, whatever. Like I said, I'm eventually gonna get a Switch, so everybody will be able to enjoy Mario Maker then, and hopefully they re-release 2 on a platform that people actually bought.
We're gonna get fucking you're gonna get fucking Mario Kart, and we're gonna play, and I'm gonna blue shell the fuck out of you all the time.
This is acceptable. I could do that. I understand.
Honestly,
I understand the Mario Karts.
Is just fun. Mario Kart is fun. I enjoy Mario Kart. It's one of those games I can just play.
We were talking about games we want to buy. I'm looking at what's on my list, which is pretty backlog. I got The Last of Us Remastered. I might want to wait till we're consolidated to do that. I really don't need to buy the PS4 edition of Witch and Hundred Night. Maybe I have a PS3. I cleaned it. It probably works. Do I actually want to buy Mirror's Edge Catalyst? Probably. I could get Horizon Zero Dawn. I want to play Detroit. Death Stranding is still a big question mark.
That reminds me, I need to actually beat 100 Night and get 100 Night 2. Because there's a second one.
Is there a sequel out already? Fuck. Maybe I do need to buy the PS4 edition. That game's super cool and stuff, but I bought it in late PS3 cycle and didn't play it super thoroughly, so I told myself, I'll just pick it up for the 4 someday, because I know there's a remaster. I should buy the Bioshock collection someday, because I really fucking love Bioshock. Is there anything spiritually inspired by Bioshock coming out? I feel like they're done with Bioshock games, but is there any more Bioshock-style stuff coming out?
I don't know specifically Bioshock style, but I remember there's the Outer Worlds that's coming out eventually. I don't know when.
That's true. Though also, I hear some people are talking about how that might be Epic Store exclusive or something.
But that might be linked to the Epic Game Store because some people are. I know Metro. Have you ever played any of the Metro games?
No. That's another one I missed. They just came out with another one.
Try those out. Those are actually pretty cool. Because they just came out with Metro Exodus. But that's also something that's been leaked to the fucking Epic Game. There was actually a bit of a kerfuffle on...
yeah, because they promised some people, I think it was on
Steam. But then they pulled it from the Steam store. They pulled it from the Steam store just to put it exclusively on the Epic Game Store. But Steam was like, yeah, they literally just pulled this fast one on us, and we're given no time. So we'll give the people who fucking pre-ordered on Steam a copy, but no, we can't actually sell this game anymore. Was there a System Shock 3 announced? Let me check. Let me see here. I'm gonna pull that up. That's not how you spell shock.
Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year edition still costs way too much. Well, not way too much, but it costs a little bit too much at $30.
They are doing a System Shock 3. Oh, there's a teaser trailer out. Came out only a week and a half ago. Hang on here.
I'm looking through my PS4 list on Amazon. Code Vein, that doesn't have a release date on Amazon, but that'll be out someday.
Yeah, System Shock 3 teaser trailer. I just posted that in our Patreon chat.
I should I have 2 on Steam, but I don't think I ever actually booted it up and played it. Steam's like that a lot. I got Shadow Colossus on my list of games I need to buy for the 3rd time. The Dragon's Crown Pro Battle Hardened Edition, because that's a funny thing. You can get some extra super release stuff. Someday I should just bite the bullet and buy Fallout 4, but I still feel like even for the Game of the Year edition, $30 is a little too much. That's something I want to get at like $20.
Yeah,
because I've heard not good things about 4. Like here's the thing. I think I've said this before to the audience, but my favorite Fallout out of the new ones, like I've played a little bit of the older ones, but they're really hard to get into on like a technical level these days. Mm-hmm. But like my favorite was New Vegas. Like 3 was really iconic and stuff. But this is weird to me to say, but I feel like 3 was the more normie game, and like 4 stayed with like the normie type shit. Like everybody who complained about, oh yeah, 4 is gonna come out, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be way better than Fallout New Vegas. That was really weird with all those factions and all that backstories and lore and all that stuff about guns and customizing and other stuff. And I'm like, you're talking about all the stuff I really loved about New Vegas, though. Like, we've talked about how much I'm a gear porn nerd, right? Like, the fact that I could hand-load my own special ammunition in that game, loved it. The fact that they had extra DLC for more customization. Also, yeah, no, New Vegas took 3 and obviously polished it up a lot, and, like, also learned from 3. 3 had some dumb tropes in it. Like oh yeah, I'm a fucking powered, armored, invincible god, and these fucking scrubs from the pit, or these weird mutant hillbillies in Maryland or whatever are just gonna casually knock me out and steal all my shit and force me into your shitty, obvious moral choices. And it feels like listen, Bethesda, love you to death. You make some really great games, but I feel like you didn't learn from the Pit DLC, despite the fact that came out like gotta be close to 20 years or something now. Like, I feel like you guys didn't learn. The Pit, in case you forgot, was the thing where you had to choose whether or not you would steal a baby or give freedom to people. And I'm like, I reject your shitty attempts at moral choices. Fuck it, I'm out of this place.
Yeah, this is why I keep pointing people to the Outer Worlds, which is being done by the original developers of Fallout and Obsidian, which were the guys who developed fucking New Vegas.
Yeah, so that's probably gonna be pretty good.
Yeah. So they are releasing it.
I have some games that I'm like, I forgot why the fuck I added this. Like, I've got stuff like Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Dusk in my PS4 list. I'm like, this looks really anime. I have no idea why I put this on the list, but someday I'll get that.
It's probably because it's really fucking anime.
Probably. I'm a sucker.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I am a sucker for the anime in my games.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they announced a new Shantae game. I've never played those, but I've seen them played, and they look super pretty and fun. And yeah, Shantae is obviously very cute.
Mm-hmm. She got that belly.
Listen, we know all about waifu games.
Yeah, I am all about waifu games.
We understand those deeply. Battlefield 1's pretty cheap. I might pick that up sometime. That's like $15 on Amazon.
I'm trying to think of other games that are actually like BioShock that might be coming out. I can't think of any.
I don't know.
BioShock-like games.
We know Doom Eternal's coming out. That might be pretty fun. Fuck, I should look when the fuck Rage 2 is coming out, because I played the original Rage. It was okay, thoroughly. It was a thoroughly okay game, but it looks like they're actually trying to improve it with the sequel, so that might be fun. My Amazon wishlist is real chaotic. I've got it divided in a lot of sub-lists, but I've got, like, lots of weird rando stuff.
My Amazon list here, because I'm curious.
Like, I have a board game specific list, which is loaded with dice and board games I'm probably not going to play with people for a while. That can be something we do when we consolidate, is play board games. Or we'll just play on Tabletop Simulator, because it's cheaper.
Let's see, what do I have in my
like, that's the thing I dropped the ball on. I really wanted to, for a long time, get Tabletop Simulator stuff set up, but then I just gave up. I feel like I'm weird. I feel like there's sometimes when I don't get enough active feedback from people in, like, a proactive sense, I just drop stuff. Like, if people don't get back to me with a certain amount of, like, enthusiasm, just like, well, obviously nobody cares. Like, you can tell me, you actually pulled this trick on Axe earlier, which is like, you can tell me, that's a really cool idea, I'd love to do something with that, but if you don't take a step with me, I'm like, okay, but you didn't give me anything to work with.
Yeah.
No offense to Axe, by the way, that was okay. Like, it turned out your thing was really easy to solve.
Yeah.
But
like,
just
as I said, this is what I think about a lot of things. It's all like, both people have to take steps into, like, progressing whatever it is. If only one person's doing all the work, then like honestly it just becomes a burden, and I don't want to fucking deal with it.
Actually, okay, I think we brought this up. That means I can't tell you that story I was going to tell you off air. But one of our old gaming buddies, Kirby, actually, he private messaged me on Discord. He was asking for game writing advice.
Oh, wow.
And you just kind of mentioned it because he was asking about like how he, he asked me my opinion on setting up like background material, like what kind of side hooks that players can like latch onto and stuff, giving them additional content to work on. And I was like, okay, it works best if you know what your group is. That way you can tailor your hooks to stuff they're going to want to bite, which is what I do with lots of games, is I wait until people give me ideas, and then I'm like, here is your special companion quest that you're really going to like. Ooh, Taket wants sparkly force paperweights. Of course, that'll get him. But I said that I told him that my advice was that in general, you don't want to overwork. You don't want to do more work and then the player characters aren't interested or they completely don't catch on to the idea and they ignore it. Because that's really shitty. That means you spent a lot of work and you didn't get feedback out of it. So what you want to do is you want to sketch bullet points. You want to come up with rough concepts. You want to come up... We've talked a lot about living world stuff. I kind of gave him that pitch. So you want to figure out a rough framework and like come up with little bullet points that make sense to just exist in the background. And then if you hook a player with those things, with whatever you thought is neat or interesting or just is an important detail to add, that's when you flesh that out and you actually figure out how players can interact with that. And that's that kind of like that two-step process. You do a little work, but then the other guy has to do a little work back. Otherwise, you don't know if that work's going to pay off.
Yeah.
Game design has a lot of social contract back and forth shit.
Yeah. But, so like once I get a couple players and I have people like actually interested in what's going on, like yes, then I'll be like, all right, I'll give people like updates where I am, how we are. Like, when we get done, I got to remember to actually give Axe like the point build and the restrictions on it so he can like start like,
right.
Talking about a character.
But at the same time, if he hasn't read the rules, that won't make any sense to him.
Yeah.
I also, by the way, you want to know why I snickered?
Why?
I opened up randomly. I was just clicking through my list. I didn't really think about it. I clicked on my pantry list. There's one item on Amazon, and it's one 54-ounce bag of Skittles, which is, I think, just the giant bag. And I'm like,
Like, I'll explain it a little later, Ax. I said, because after we get done with this, I'm gonna go fucking eat. I'm gonna go make me some goddamn.
Yeah, I'm getting to snack. This is really bad for me because now I'm literally looking at snacks on Amazon, and I'm thinking to myself, what's the easiest way they can get this to me? Like, technically, the 54-ounce bag of Skittles is cheaper, but I think that's a bulk bag, which for me is a bad fucking idea because one of my personal beliefs about stuff is just, when you have stuff, work with it, whether it's food or entertainment or whatever, and then when it's gone, it's gone.
Oh my fucking god. I can buy... You're talking about Skittles. If we're talking about, like, fruit-flavored candies that are, like, goddamn, it's Starburst jelly beans for me.
Fuck. I knew you were going to say something Starburst related, so I'm like, I'm thinking at my Amazon taskbar, am I going to click the Google on the fucking... Oh my god, they have a 54-ounce bag of Starbursts also. They have the party size, and it's like $8.
Oh, are you kidding? They got a 5-pound bag for $18. Like, how much is that? Like, how much is, like, I don't know. But still, it's just like...
Listen,
okay.
I have a little bit of money, but this is a really not good purchase for $10
no, it's
for
not,
me to make.
But I still want it.
Oh, fuck. Amazon's like, oh, you want some shit? They're like, frequently bought together. Starburst, Jolly Ranchers, assorted 5-pound bag. Maybe I'll just get the 5-pound bag of Jolly Ranchers, because that's 360 bits of Jolly Ranchers.
That's something you have to unwrap.
Like, that's something those are individual pieces. You gotta work on those. I mean, you have to unwrap, yeah, I was talking about Starbursts. But, like...
Yeah, no, Starburst Jelly Bean is my... Starburst is my...
Great. Listen, I have a fucking sweet tooth.
I have a sweet tooth first, because... Literally, I got in trouble in the Navy because some dude tried to steal my Starburst, and I knocked him the fuck out. That's how much I love...
shouldn't have tried to steal your fucking Starburst. All right, yeah. I'm gonna add Jolly Ranchers to my Amazon pantry list, and I may or may not buy that.
Literally, I'm standing in a morning muster. I'm snacking on my Jolly Ranchers. This guy, like, literally tries to sneak his hand into my pocket and talk to them. I pivot, I punched him in the mouth, he goes flying, and I go back into muster, eating my Starburst, acting like nothing happened. So
Swag.
basically, everyone... So everyone turns around, sees this guy on the floor, like, bleeding from the mouth, and me just snacking on Jolly Ranchers, and they're just like, what the fuck happened? Like a moment later, the guy got up and, started swinging on me, and, everyone got in, it's like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
All right.
And the story came out, but that was the day I got the nickname, like, you have to say the whole fucking thing, Action Motherfucking Jackson, god damn it. And, like, everyone says, like, and it's like, everyone's like, watch out when he puts his hands in his pocket. Because that's what I was doing. I had my hands in my pocket because that's where my Starbursts were.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to go get a snack. We're at 3 hours, so we need to cut this off before it gets too huge for Patreon.
All right, okay, cool.
The conclusion to this episode of What's Up, which I think may end up being the title, is Amazon is a power too great for any one man. Because now I'm looking at fucking Werther's. They've got fucking bags of, like, assorted Werther's. Like, I've been on a lot of road trips, so that means I've eaten a lot of hard candy in my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, shit, dude. Like, this is crazy. So my Amazon pantry list is going to get big, and it's just going to be snacks. It's just
right now. I'm making a shopping list, and it is being called Snacks. It is happening right now. Support us on Patreon so I can buy snacks.
That's the thing that makes me have a hard stop think about this, right? Which is like, I have in my budget I have fucking $10. I could buy it, and I do some other stuff, like I help around the house and do other stuff for a little bit of petty cash. So technically, it's not like it's necessarily directly my Patreon money, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, oh, but the patrons, I must think of them. I don't necessarily, like, I'm sure that they wouldn't mind if I did something, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't necessarily want to spend your... Oh, shit, never mind. Hold on, I gotta spend $10 on something now. I found my Happy Belly Sweet and Spicy Trail Mix. I've been looking for this for a while. It's been out of stock at Amazon. I'm like, oh, fuck. I love this shit. I definitely have to buy some of that now. Well, we got a payday coming up, so our budget's gonna get a little bit expanded.
Yeah. But real quick, I'm gonna go through my PS4 list so you guys understand my game selection choice. For PS4, I have Dead or Alive 5, Dead or Alive Extreme 3, English subtitle. By the way, this costs like $98 fucking bucks because you have to literally import it. Dead or Alive 6, The Caligula Effect Overdose, Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, Devil May Cry 5, Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, Days Gone, Code Vein, Legend of Heroes, Tales of Cold Steel 1 and 2, and that's the end of the list. I'll probably might go through it later again, but yeah, right. I like my Japans. Actually, I should see if there's any Western games I want to get.
Yeah, don't know. Anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and wind down the episode, both because we want to eat, and also the episode needs to wind down. There's some pauses in there that get edited out, but I'm looking at over a 3-hour recording time, and I'm thinking to myself, yee. So hey, everybody, if you like this episode, give it a like. If you have any comments about any of the many topics we've covered today, leave it in the comment section down below. And as always, if you're new here and if not already, please subscribe to our channel. Listen, just make it to 1800. We'll have a public day where everybody can tune in. Everybody can talk about their favorite snacks with us. And also consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early. You can get lots of integrations like listening to us live all the time. You get to see episodes early, access to certain polls and stuff. And, future topic suggestions for Lucky Live. Live with Lucky. Many L's. And it helps fund our various addictions, which we try to be budget conscious about. But also sometimes, listen, we're human, and sometimes you really want some fucking Skittles. Or actually, honestly, the first thing I'm gonna buy is gonna be this sweet and spicy trail mix, because I tried some of it before, and I was looking for months trying to find more of it, and it was out of stock on Amazon and shit. And so just the fact that I found it again, I'm like, holy shit, I love this stuff.
Snacks. Oh my god, Whoppers. I'm adding Whoppers to this list.
Oh, fuck, now I can add Whoppers to my list. I love Whoppers. All right. We will probably have a dedicated snack episode at some time, just because we fucking love snacks. So, we'll talk to you guys another time, and be sure to tune into Let's Talk FGO future next week's What's Up. Keep your eye out for Let's Plays and other videos, and like I said, because this recording is ending at 12:30 at night, and it's going to be 3 hours. The rendering is physically not going to be ready to go probably until early tomorrow morning. So. Or early tomorrow daytime, I should say, since it's already technically morning. So that will definitely have happened before this, but we'll be happy to see you there in future, because that's going to be a regular thing now. And yeah, that's it. Lucky, do you have another snack you want to force me to eventually buy in future to throw out there at the end, or are you done?
No, I'm looking at Laffy Taffy now.
Laffy Taffy.